All right, guys, welcome to the NUEL Summer Tournament. My name is Peter Canfit Hartnell, joined by Isa. I got it.
You got it so close. You had it during all the prep. You've had it during all the practice casts, and the one time, Pete. Come on.
Oh man, my shame will be eternal. Stuart Isa McLeod. I remember because it sounds like a mobster. That probably won't make sense to anyone, but never mind. So we're gonna have
put them on ice.
Yeah, gotta ice it, see?
You gotta ice them, see? Yeah.
Oh man, Stuart, I could really use some ice right now because it is absolutely boiling all across England. It's some kind of hell pit.
Hey, and the competition's heating up here at the NUEL.
Oh man,
we're getting in for the summer split. Sun's out, guns out. We're gonna get into 5 weeks of modified Swiss tournament play. Counterfeit. Let them know what this modified Swiss will be.
So, you guys, if you've played in competitive environments before, you know that Swiss is basically it means the better you play, the better the quality of your opponents. So, modified Swiss in this case is a little bit of a change that so that we don't end up with the same people playing each other all the time, and also in the interest of making sure these tournaments run quickly. Sometimes you'll see the teams kind of playing against different teams than you might expect. So there's a little bit more variability, but it's broadly the same idea. Essentially, if you're in this tournament, you've got these 5 weeks of Swiss, in which if you do well, you will play against better opponents. If you don't do so well, then you get a chance to recover and maybe sneak in to the playoffs. What's going on with them playoffs, though, Isa?
Playoffs are happening. So about half of the teams will make it through to the playoffs, where we'll have the bracket stage break down into the grand finals. Let them know what the prize pool is, Pete.
So for this particular summer tournament, we have 4,400 Riot points as our prize pool, split between first, second, and third place. And of course, with this being all kinds of official, we will have the triumphant Rise skins for our first place team. Every single one of them will be able to show off their swag on the Rift.
So since the last time we've had the NUEL around, it's kind of changed dramatically with the meta and where it's going. Because you think about the last time we were here, it was all crit-based ADCs, your Caitlyn's, your Tristanas. As people are probably aware from solo queue, that's out the window. Crit ADCs are pretty much dead. You can still make some of them work. You can still make your Zaya's work, your Varus's work. But it requires a lot more setup, and it requires a lot more time to get them to that same strength point. So what we're seeing in the bot lane is people who have that 2-item spike that's big enough to fight around the mid game. When you've got your Vladimirs, your Swains, who can really come in and dominate a team fight.
Yeah, I'm honestly fascinated to see how the teams adapt, because there are teams that kind of try and stick to the tried and tested strategies, and there are other teams that fully embrace the madness that is prevalent right now. And honestly, makes every game extremely hard to predict.
Yeah, with the funnel comps as well, I doubt we'll see them, but it requires normally a bit more organized play to pull it off. But the idea that we could see teams trying to funnel, we could see a hyper carry mid laner like the Kai'Sa come in with the jungler giving up on life pretty much to play Braum. we've seen a lot of junglers going, okay, yeah, I'm a Braum main now. We saw, remember when the plants came in and junglers were all complaining, I'm a jungler, not a gardener, come on, give me a break here. I mean, they've lost their smite now, they've taken everything away from them.
Oh, and just before we get too much further into that, I can see that there are some fans of the Invulnerables in the chat. Unfortunately, we've had an issue with their opponents not able to attend to their particular slots, so very much sorry about that, guys. Instead, we will have to replace our first match with Warwick Esports, or as they are currently. And I'm just going to go and check their current name because it's quite a mouthful. It is. Where is it? It's a big old list of teams.
XXX Noob Slayers XXX.
They gave us permission to say Warwick Esports just so we didn't finish out the game before we finished saying their name.
I mean, it's a way around it. It's a work in progress, but we are where we are. So we're going to look at how this is going to shake it out, because we had Warwick last split not really living up to the hype they built up in the previous split. They built a large amount of infrastructure around the team. They've given them a lot more support, and then Exeter gets both final spots. Wasn't really what they were hoping for. We'll see if the summer split is the way to make up for it. Exeter not even showing up to this one, so I mean, we've got Warwick looking to be a shoe-in for the top few spots.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we've got 22 teams playing in this summer tournament. I've got some of these big names. I mean, this is a great match to get us started off with. Where's Kiel from University of Kiel? Also a relatively established name in the scene, as you guys can see on the screen at the moment. We'll have Ooga Booga Sleepy Sleepy as our second team, which I honestly chose just because of how crazy their name is. And Luigi for our final match of today.
This is Waterloo with the LU being in capitals. It's Loughborough University, I believe.
Oh man, those Loughborough guys, they just, everywhere they go, they have to make puns.
It's just, it seems to be a disease. When people go, let's think of a name for our team, and they just go, what's the worst, most insufferable pun we can think of? And it's Waluigi.
I'm pretty sure I just did a Google search for.
I think one of my favorite ones is Not on My Watch, which is University of Nottingham, not spelt with 2 T's.
Ooh, is it? There must be. I feel like some of the universities kind of try and want to get away from the really obvious puns, but other teams like to fully embrace them instead.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got a call back to Warwick's particularly.
Wait, did you pick Invulnerables Red because Doctor plays for them?
Wait, Doctor plays for them?
Yeah, Doctor's the jungler.
Oh. So if any of you guys are confused what the heck it is we're talking about, Doctor is a shoutcaster who does who's currently doing, I believe, the Belong by Game tournaments. What name is he playing under?
Rito Games is his tag. He's the jungler for Invulnerables Red.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice that. How did I not notice that?
Harry Evans, yeah.
Oh, I've got Outlaw for Invulnerables Red. Maybe I got the wrong team. Are you sure you're not looking at Invulnerables Blue? Because Invulnerables are
no. Maybe he's the sub jungler then, but he's a jungler and he's on the roster for Invulnerables Red.
Oh, how strange! I was so I know that. Well, I'm sure you Invulnerables fans in the chat will know, but Invul Esports is the Twitter for Invulnerables. It's actually pretty well set up on that Twitter. It's a shame we can't show them. First of all, it's quite possible I've got this the wrong way around. Oh man, I feel bad for CJ, the captain of
Outlaw's upset now. We've upset him.
Oh no!
He's not Harry Evans, and now he's upset. Oh no!
I don't see Doctor on either of the scheduled ones.
I'm on literally the NUEL website looking at the rosters for the team. Yes, and it says one of the listed players is Harry Evans.
He must be a substitute for one of them then.
Okay. He's the sub, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll hopefully get to see them a little bit later on. So for all of you guys who are Invulnerables fans, unfortunately we've got other teams scheduled in for the second and third slots. We can't just bump Invulnerables to there and then bump them out of the way.
It just means we'll have to grab them next week.
CJ, as you can see in the chat, has been very forthcoming with some excellent stories about Invulnerables. So honestly, I'm a little gutted to not be able to show you guys them on stream. They would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, next time around we'll have to. We're just waiting on somebody to patch at the minute. Last member to be ready for Wes Kiel, I believe. And then we'll be into our first game of the week, first game of the summer tournament with Warwick versus Kiel. So.
Oh, and for any of you guys who are listening now who are playing in the tournament, your admins for today's and for the entire tournament will be Tsunami Dan, Adiol, Tau Omicron Mew, and of course, lead admin Deanish Oliver, making sure everything is running smoothly behind the scenes. I think Deanish is probably going to be the one people will interact with the most. But if you run across those admins, please be nice to them. They work extremely hard to make sure these events do go forwards.
Well, it seems that we're at an impasse here. We just gotta. We're still waiting on that last member. I apologize, guys, but we'll be here. We'll be talking League. So, Rift Rivals, EU greater than NA.
Well, I mean, the evidence is in the results, I feel. I mean,
Splice pulling out the upset was definitely decent. I mean, I know a few people who work at Splice, so it felt pretty good to see them pick up that win.
oh boy, I haven't even had a chance to look at their Twitter. I mean, as I said, I felt bad for Vulnerables on their Twitter posting that they were going to be playing today, but I imagine Splice's Twitter must have been blowing up. I know that, well, we've already seen Warwick, who are playing today, in the chat. Warwick asking, where is Keel? Yes, we are waiting on the last Keel player before we get started with that first game. But I believe Warwick...
But also, that is indeed the team's name.
Oh, that's true. I forgot that was the case. Yes, where's Keel?
It wasn't so much a question as the name of the team.
Well, Warwick Esports, you can, of course, find at Warwick Esports on the Twitters. I'm going to have a quick look for what Keel's... there's Keel Esports. That's just all one word together. Keel Esports, if you are a Keel fan and you somehow or other haven't followed them on Twitter as of yet, I'm sure they would appreciate it as well. But I know that Warwick is certainly very, very active when it comes to social media and honestly Twitch chats as well.
But I mean, it seems that we still just gotta wait for this last member of Keel. Indeed, where is Keel? But if we look at, I want to talk about a lot of the picks we're seeing come out more recently, because I want to see if we see new Aatrox today.
Oh boy,
new Aatrox has been showing up quite well in the Rift Rivals around the world. We saw it go 4-0 for EU when they played up against NA. We saw Heimerdinger go 4-0 against NA as well. So these two picks are very strong in the current meta. We've seen Zoe Mid come back quite a lot in competitive play. We'll see if that transitions downwards towards these more grassroots style games, or if it is just going to be very much more play what you're comfortable on, play what you're practiced on.
Yes, the reaction to Aatrox certainly wasn't particularly positive to start with. I think a very big departure from what Aatrox was prior to this rework, but I think having the strong showing at Rift Rivals is going to turn a few heads and maybe get people to give the champion a bit more of a fair shake before dismissing them.
I mean, previous Aatrox was really strong champion where he'd be able to get onto the back line, and with the way the Gwynsu's and Titanic interaction worked, he'd shred people to pieces while still being relatively tanky. Now you see it he's changed quite a lot to the point where he's more of a disruptor. He's more of a big bruisery backline diver, but at the same time, he doesn't do anywhere near as much damage as he used to. So it's more about landing that CC. It's more about getting the chain, and rather than having that consistent DPS once you get on top of somebody.
I honestly feel like that's, it feels like his kit's kind of been built with the potential for, for playing well and for outplaying built into it, and I can only think that's a good thing.
Yeah, the interactions between the W and the Q seems to be the crux of his kit, where the W slows people, and after a short duration, if they don't leave the area, they get pulled back to the center, which allows you to land a Q much easier. So you can land the first Q, chain that into a W, into the second Q once they get pulled back, and then the third Q, you E to dash in at short range, you get the final damage off. So the trading pattern's clearly very highly damaging if you get it off, but there's a lot of champions who just won't allow you to pull that off. He's very good at playing off the back of someone else's trade. So you got a Renekton that uses his dash to go in on top of Aatrox, and Aatrox turns that. But what he's very poor at is having a trade turned on him, where you throw out your first Q, and then suddenly somebody's jumping on top of you. You've got an Aurelia that's stunning you and getting the resets on the Q. It's still a champion that can be punished by these combo breaker fighters, but he really excels in catching people out of position.
Yes, and of course, that World Ender ultimate kind of bringing his old passive back to kind of a much more reliable fashion to just have it active on his ultimate allows for some really nice tower diving as well.
I love the way that we've actually seen it be used, though, which is because it gives you at level 16 270 out of combat movement speed. You just pop it and then run towards a fight, so you're there in time. Even if you don't get your passive or full use of the passive, you get into that fight, you get the bonus AD, and you make sure you actually have an impact.
Yeah, I think it's honestly really, really nice. I think we may in fact have our players joining in now. Our last Keel player for Where's Keel is actually said, Isa. I almost said Sin, but I caught myself. Isa, believe, living up to their name. I think this may be an emergency substitute on the Keel University side, but it seems like Warwick are pretty chill about it, so we should be getting started for our first summer tournament game briefly.
Yeah, so we're just going to get set up for this, and then we'll be ready to go.
All right, so, yep, everything looks like it's good here. So, without any further ado, we'll get into our very first game of the summer tournament. Remember, there are 5 weeks of competition. This is only our very first game as Warwick Esports from the University of Warwick go up against Where's Keel from Keel Uni.
So coming in, we see the Fiddlesticks band away straight off, which is it's a support that tries to control the lane and deny these dives, deny these hard forcing bot lanes, where you see like the Swain and the Vladimir go in to dive under the enemy tower, and just being able to use your Q instantly deny that is definitely effective. Also, it provides that later on where you've got it as effectively as a polymorph.
Oh yeah, absolutely love having it available. I mean, the Kindred getting taken out as well. Certainly the recipient of more than a few buffs in recent times. It's finally started to see a resurgence, and another jungle pick taken out. Some pretty heavy banging from both sides.
So with these more aggressive jungle picks taken away, maybe we're looking for the junglers to take a more slow and relaxed style where you can pull out something along the lines of the Sejuani. You can pull out something more tanky, a bit slower. But we'll have to see how this continues, because with a lot of these early aggression champions taken off of the board, it allows you to pick a more scaling champ and be safe.
Yeah, Yasuo, the last choice for Warwick. We've seen that, as much as we've seen many things going down towards the bottom lane recently. I was hoping we maybe get to see something like that from Warwick this time round. So last ban is another potential bottom lane pick in the Vladimir.
So there's still a lot of picks left up, still a lot of power picks all over the place, and instead we're going to see a Katarina locked in as the first pick here. So Katarina, really heavy snowball mid laner. When she can get the roams off, if she can start to snowball ahead, she destroys. But if she starts to fall behind, her damage really feels like it's lacking. So very feast or famine. We'll have to see if they set up decently around her, or if she just simply wants to stomp lane.
All right, well, we saw those jungle bans going through pretty heavily from both sides. We'll see if the jungle pick gets secured by Keel, and it will be the Graves locked in. A big chunk of damage picked up. Graves along with Kaiser early for Keel.
A lot of scaling damage as well when they can both get towards those late game items. They become huge, but the issue is they don't really have that same mid-game power. Graves really needs a strong early game. He really needs to snowball ahead himself to have a strong mid-game. Otherwise, he ends up falling off, he ends up scaling behind and not really getting that damage that he needs to have until he starts to get the crit towards the later stages. So he's going to be relying on trying to use that early game effectiveness that he's got with the hard farming to set up Kaiser and have Kaiser carry the game from there.
Nautilus, something we're not seeing too often. I think quite likely, or at least possible, to get combined with a brand down the bottom lane. Perhaps we might see that in place of the more traditional
it could well be
carry.
a bot lane. It could well be the bot lane. We've seen, especially C9 in North America, play a lot of this brand where they keep on throwing it at that AD carry position. It's so oppressive in lane, and once you start to throw some farm at him, he doesn't really need to survive a team fight. He just needs to throw out his combo just the once, and then everybody gets bursted down.
The last pickup for Keel in the first phase will be that Dr. Mundo up in the top lane. Certainly I could almost consider to be oppressively strong in the previous patch. It's had a little bit of a love tap. Do you think it's been enough to keep the Mundo from being a monster?
Hell no. Mundo is still really strong. Basically, at maximum, they took 40 AD off of him when he's on minimal HP and he pops E. So, when you're taking that much AD off of a champion that relies on being tanky, it doesn't really matter. It's the difference between making an AD carry run away from you because you're a big threat and making an AD carry run away from you because you're a big threat. Mundo is fine since the changes, and it's just a little bit less to do with him one-shotting an ADC now is the only issue.
Well, we are seeing some bans from Kiel coming out to presumably protect that Mundo. The Darius taken off the board, whereas Warwick deciding to devote their attentions down toward the bottom lane. At the moment, the Nami stripped away, and another support pick taken away. No Black Shield this game.
So I want to talk a little bit about that Darius then. Darius, renowned for being very good in lane against Dr. Mundo. We've seen it consistently. If you looked at the China-Korea LMS Rift rivals, Khan getting a pentakill after he snowballed hard ahead in lane versus a Dr. Mundo, kept solo killing him. And we've seen this consistently with the matchup, where Mundo wants to have these extended trades, and Darius also excels massively when you give him these extended trades, where he starts hitting hard with the...
I think Sin may have... I did it for the first time, I got the name wrong. Isa may have been assaulted by an ice cream truck.
Yeah, I know, it's annoying.
As the last ban from Warwick of this game will be that Blitzcrank, another bottom lane focus ban from the Warwick side. Apparently looking to make some progress down there as we finally get to see what the response to the Katarina will be. Presumably going to be the Xerath.
So really interesting to go for the Xerath of all picks, and a mobile pick that can't really shut down the Katarina effectively other than hoping to land the E-stun and going from there. So even honestly looking in this Volibear pick would make sense right now, especially with a Nautilus on top of it, because it's so easy to get on top of that Xerath right now, where they haven't really got anybody to peel for him. So you just lock him down and he is gone. He has no safety. He has to burn a flash. He has to burn a cleanse, a heal, something to be able to get away.
Well, speaking of engage, we've got the potential to see more for the last pick of Warwick. Will they decide to go for that Aurelia? Certainly it's been pretty ridiculous. No, it will be the Gnar. And now we've got another way for Warwick to crash right into Kiel.
So I wonder which Gnar this will be, because we've seen some Gnars build the full tank build. We've seen some Gnars actually go for a lot more of a heavy damage build, where you build like Gwinsu's into Black Cleaver and then start ramping up the tankiness. So if you build that Gwinsu's first, with that 100% AP ratio you've got on your third hit of your W, you start destroying tanks. But we've actually seen that be relevant because people want to transform into the larger Mega Gnar as quickly as possible to get the ult off in a fight. And no matter whether it's constant skirmishes, that can be very relevant.
Well, Kiel look like they have gone for something approximating at least the traditional bottom lane. With all those support bans coming out in the second phase from Warwick, decided to go for the Sona. Not something I've personally seen for a while, but a pretty decent poke.
A decent poke, decent sustain in lane, and when you've got a rougher lane matchup, like you're up against a Brand, you need something to keep you sustained. It's so awful if you get hit by just one W, it feels like you can't lane anymore. So it's definitely an understandable pick to want to keep Kai'Sa in that laning phase, but we'll have to see how it goes, because we're not even certain it is the Brand ADC right now. It could well be Katarina in the bot lane for all it matters.
Oh boy. I think it was Percival who gave the intelligence that Arisu, the Katarina in the game, responsible for Warwick Esports. Very interesting name coming to this, but as I said, they've given us explicit permission to just call them Warwick Esports this time round, so our heads won't fall off. Yeah, I'm honestly fascinated to see what this Katarina can do. I mean, but I can't draw my eyes away from that Sona in the bottom lane. When you're going into potentially Nautilus and Brand, it feels like such a risky pick for Kiel.
I think one of the main issues is with it that, as you're alluding to, Sona has the lowest health pool in the game at level 1. So Sona, if she gets hit by a combo, will just be dead quicker than any other champion in the game. So you can keep her CC locked with the Brand plus the Nautilus to the point where she doesn't get off the heals that keep her safe. She doesn't get off the ult. And she needs to be extremely careful. However, if you get to the point where Sonet is just poking and healing and poking and healing and is managing to stay out of that engage range, then it will be fine and it will be able to keep Kai'Sa in the game, allow Kai'Sa to continue trading and scaling up to that point in the game where we know Graves, Dr. Mundo, and Kai'Sa will all be online, and Xerath will be there with so much space to do the damage if he's got other threats available.
Yes, well, I think Monica's bringing out the exhaust rather than the much more commonly seen ignite down the bottom lane, and nods towards how dangerous this whole bottom lane situation is set up for Kill. I'm honestly fascinated to see if they can make the best use of that poke potential. I mean, as the guys are saying in the chat, Warwick certainly coming to this one pretty darn favoured based at least off their solo queue stats and of course the history of Warwick as an esports destination.
Yeah, definitely favourites coming in, and we didn't really allude to it much, but the elo difference is rather large here, so Warwick expected to take this one handily. However, upsets can happen. We can still see things go late if Warwick doesn't punish hard enough.
I've received word that apparently Smashly, the AD carry for Kiel, is going to carry this game. So, well, if there was already...
Come on, don't give Twitch chat this much credit. It feels like you're narrating them now.
Well, honestly, at this point, I mean, you guys who are watching are the experts on these teams.
Hey, they're all challenger. Don't worry about them.
Well, exactly. I was planning on taking some, putting a poll up on Reddit as well. For the real challenger perspective. Either way around it, we will be getting into our very first game of the summer tournament in just a few moments. Guys, do let us know in the chat. Are you supporting the Titans of Warwick Esports or the underdogs of Kiel? Let us know, of course. Do hit us up on Twitter. We've got the NUEL on there. And as I said, both teams playing today have their own Twitter accounts that you can definitely not spam before the game even begins.
So I want to look at the composition. Not being a pseudo tank, but still looking to, we assume, switch into Mega Gnar as quickly as possible. Rather than trying to shred an opposing front line, we'll be looking to land that big teamfight damage onto a squishy, set up by the brand, set up by the Volibear, and it will enable Katarina to put down even more damage. But the major damage sources of the team are both heavy AP. And when Mundo's main damage from Gnar that he's going to be taking is that percentage health damage from the W, it allows him to buy a lot more magic resistance early on and shut down so much of what makes Warwick strong.
Yes, I mean, the Spirit Visage certainly pretty ubiquitous for Mundo picks to enhance that healing. So, I mean, so we're expecting if Kiel do get towards the late game to really see Symbaslians, I think I said their name remotely correctly, to just be kind of operating more or less
Simba's
freely.
Lions.
Simba's Lions. That makes a bit more sense. Okay, so if you're on the Warwick side, if it does go towards the later game, which is a big question mark, are there any tools you've got in your kind of lineup here that could deal with a itemized Mundo?
I think the big thing is here, they've got one of the best Death Ball comps you could allow. And having the Ignite on Katarina, as well as the ultimate automatically applying Grievous Wounds, is just a natural counter to Dr. Mundo when you've got those late game AoE team fights. And you don't even have to necessarily build the Morellonomicon to get it to that point either.
Alright guys, we are just about to get into game, but do bear in mind, because of the, there's a little bit of a bulk of the spectator at the moment, which means that we have to pause up at the beginning of the game to make sure you guys get a smooth ride all the way through. So do
just to clarify, what point are you paused at there, Pete?
I'm going to pause at 15 seconds. I think it's...
That's where I am as well.
Right, give me a second. I think it's having a bit of trouble loading in. Might need to... I'm hearing sounds. Not getting too much else, though. Sorry about this, guys. Might need to reload my client again. Just a second.
No worries.
All right. Okay, we're going to reconnect. We're just going to load in. All right. Sorry about this, guys. So don't worry, you will not miss anything at all. And of course, we should be able to have actually bought enough time once we've loaded in to be able to start straight away for our first game. So, okay, So you've talked about the power of the Warwick side. I'm guessing from what you've said, you're kind of considering Warwick to be the heavy favourites coming into this one.
Oh, heavy favourites. But if you look at the other side, it's the main issue I've got is you've got a Death Ball composition with a lot of CC up against Sona and Xerath, who both have very little peel and will just be one shot when anybody lands CC on them. So if that is going to be the case, they're in big trouble. But if you can be set up effectively by the Graves early game to try and shut down that mid game snowball by getting an early game advantage, it can lead to them having a lot more of a neutralized mid game from Warwick.
I think that where I have loaded in.
What's the timer?
We've got a pause coming through.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to be seeing a remake, so sorry about this, guys. This is very unfortunate. But it's the way sometimes the cookie
It's
crumbles.
the way the NUEL is, guys. It happens. It wouldn't be the NUEL without pauses and remakes.
No flame, of course. But all right. So with that in mind, we're going to have to go to a brief break where we do get set up again. Thank you guys for your patience. We should only be a couple of minutes before we're back into things once more. So stay tuned, and the NUEL will return shortly. Alright guys, there we go. We're getting our first game of the tournament underway. Apologies for the delay there, but we should all be good from here on out. So once more, Warwick over on the blue, Keel over on the red. Fascinating
already though in the mid lane.
Ooh, wow, it's getting brutal. Oh, Isa, your connection's struggling, I'm afraid.
Oh.
I don't know if there's anything which can be done about that. We'll just keep things going for the time being. As we see potentially a second blood coming through, so let's have a look. So first blood was in the mid. Let's do a bit of rearranging on the scoreboard here, because it looks like the players didn't join in full order. But we'll have hopefully a bit of a clearer picture. So it looks like it was actually first blood along with an assist from the brand. What? That must have been a very interesting starter game that we missed. That's a bit of a shame. But at least we'll have the rest of the game.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, but...
You are roboting out fairly bad. It might be worth restarting Discord. That can sometimes fix it. Okay, well, while Isa sorts that out, let's take a look back at the game itself. So, We have got it confirmed that Chaz Master and Tim down the bottom lane with that brand Nautilus combo up against Mashley's Kaiser and Monica on the Sona. No kills actually down there as of yet. It was a kill in the mid lane for Arisu, the mid laner of Warwick. So not the best of starts, but the gold hasn't spiraled out of control as of yet, at least. Up in the top side, Simba's Lions is holding ground for the moment. Nice flash from... and Rico going to get chewed up by Arisu. Very nice second blood. I think that's a second gank for Percival. Second blood coming through. I was caught off guard by that. Really nice play from Percival to avoid the stun. Isa mentioned before, the only line of defense for Trip Nariko's Xerath is that straight line stun, relatively predictable, and with the barrier down from the earlier gank, an easy extra double stack, for Arisu and that Dark Seal. We have got Deft making their moves around in the bottom side, but up in the top, it's Tunky trying to go head-to-head with Simba's Lion, both down extremely low. Simba's Lion decides not to go for it in the end. The rage bar of Tunky building up pretty high, and of course, Nar gated behind that rage bar once it is up and running. A big old hunk of power coming in. Simba's able to back off for the time being, relying on that Doran's shield and the Mundo healing to keep those trades from being too nasty. But it's a top lane that could turn towards another kill in a hurry if either side makes a mistake.
Okay, am I back now? Does it sound alright?
Yeah, you sound great.
Cool. So I feel like one of the big issues here we've talked about already is the fact that Xerath does not have any escapes. So he just gets locked down so easily by the Katarina, who obviously has the gap closing of the E, the reset on the E when you land on a dagger, and it just means that she can jump in and out of the fight so easily. And you don't really want to pick an immobile, long-range mage like that into it. If you're up against something as this, that's fine.
You were back to roboting again. Hopefully it will. We are going to be assaulted at all sides by creepy robots.
Finished you?
Let's just keep trying for a while. Up on the top side, it's actually turned pretty heavily in the favor of Simba's Lions. I don't know quite what happened there, but Tunky's got chunked out and maybe forced back out of lane. Level 6 is coming through. Tunky has got that ult, but no way to access it. Force the flash away. The follow-up flash from Simba's Lions, and there's the first kill for Keel. A solo for the Mundo, and a big pickup. But Percival does coming down the bottom. We'll have that crowd control chain. We'll have a lot of damage coming out from the Kaiser, but not enough to get through that passive. And Percival still keeps up that 100% kill participation.
And those really champions in that health. Up in that time, so clinging with that mega 100 extra health, and
I'm afraid I'm still getting the same thing. Guys on the stream, just to check, because I'm going to actually restart my Discord just in case it's me. Is Isa still sounding kind of robotic for you, or is it just coming through on my side? I see Alpha Kenny making robot faces, which could potentially give some indications in that particular regard, but I don't want to assume it's for everybody rather not for me. Okay, it's not me. Okay. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Is there anything that maybe we could be shut off on your end, Isa? Still the same, but keep going. We've got Arisu coming down to the bottom lane, making the roam. Even without Percival there, Kill are going to be feeling the pressure from Warwick here. XR going now very low. The flash away will stop the kill going through onto Smashley, burning the heal and the flash to stay alive. Big roam, but the reward will only be summoners. Alright, I think Isa's going to take another run at seeing if we can fix those audio issues. Sorry about this, guys. It wasn't happening before, but it seems to be a bit of an unfortunate timing, as Deft is going to try and claw Keel back into the game, as we see the roam from Nariko on the Xerath, not as effective as the Katarina roam immediately preceding.
So, I'm not sure if the issues are still prevalent, but...
Oh, you sound okay for now.
Okay. So, yeah, it's just Katarina doing what Katarina does. Start to get some items, roam, and attempt to stomp the opposing bot lane.
Well, at this point, Trip Noriko and Lazarus building a null magic mantle very early. I don't know if even that's going to be enough to stand up to the early Hextech Revolver picked up for Arizu.
Definitely needs a lot more than just a little bit of magic resistance. You basically need a new champion at this point.
Oh boy, that's harsh. Well, at least once it comes to the, we're at the level 6 part now. Trip Noriko is going to be able to access that ultimate to be able to, be part of a fight without being anywhere near Arizu.
I think that the issue is with Katarina's jumps and resets on it. Even as we get towards the later stages of the game, she's going to have near free access to the backline, and there's no peel to stop her. No heavy CC, no lockdown, other than the crescendo to stop her. So it's just Katarina, when she starts to get ahead, will tear through this composition, and because you have the tools, the strength of the composition.
Oh boy, it's gone back to robot again. I don't know what to say, Isa. Here we are, very unfortunate today with well, this being our first stream of the summer tournament, of course, we'll look to work out all of these kinks as we go. Hopefully, it's going to be a one-time thing. I don't know if it's just some Discord unluck, as we see the Infernal Drake picked up Deft, able to just escape out the back one. First crescendo of the game, and we do see the shutdown coming through. That shutdown gold has been enhanced recently, as Smashley getting a lot of help from the rest of the team to stay up. Health bars down incredibly low for Warwick, Percival, and I think, honestly, the Kiel are happy to try and get out of that one with their team intact and getting that shutdown gold.
And so they get a nice collapse there, they get the turnaround kills, and they pick it up. But I'm going to try and talk in short stints so I don't go robo again.
It seems to be alright for the moment, but I've learned not to trust it lasting for a decent amount of time.
It doesn't seem to want to last for a decent amount of time still. But getting that shutdown kill onto Arisu, yeah, it's a couple hundred extra gold. And that going onto the Kai'Sa as well, exactly where you want it for the scaling effectiveness of the team.
Yeah, it's going to be invested into what looks to be working towards an early Gwynsu's. I know that Gwynsu's did receive some, I think it was during this patch, during 8.13, that the Gwynsu's was kind of heavily discouraged from being a first item pickup. But never mind that for a second, as Deft is going to get caught up, but Ariso is too low to follow up.
The nerfs to the Gwynsu's were pretty much just Kai'Sa nerfs. Only two champions really building the Gwynsu's Rageblade, Kai'Sa and Varus. And then they directly buff Varus after nerfing the Rageblade. So they made it a very clear point that it was just a nerf to Kai'Sa.
Ah. Well, okay, so it looks like one of the teams may have run into technical issues again. I've got the chat turned off, so I'm not sure who it was. Hopefully I said you'll be able to spot that one out. And see
I've got the chat on, I'm still not seeing anything at the minute.
Oh, how strange. Alright, well, we're just going to try and get all of our technical issues out of the way early on. Alright, so we're 11.5 minutes into the game. Is this what we would have been expecting from Champion Select in terms of the kind of the game layout?
Well, there wasn't really much of a layout from Champion Select, to be honest. There's not really a cohesive unit with each team composition. It's kind of just like build towards that death ball in the late game.
Wait a second, I think we may get an earlier death ball than anticipated. There's 2 kills come through for Warwick, mid and bottom, almost simultaneously. I think it felt like Kiel was trying to do something, but it went disastrously wrong.
He ends up turning around the 2v1, and that's the kill for Arisu, but we're seeing heavy trading in every lane right now from the side of Warwick. They're all going in hard onto the opposing laners. Let's take stock of where we're at here. It's still a 2k gold lead. They're trying to get this first tower of the game. They want to start getting the snowball rolling. And they need to be able to get these laners rotating consistently around to shut down any of the pressure that's coming out from Kiel.
Simba's Lions may have made a mistake here, or maybe not! Oh my god! Both top laners die in each other's arms, but while that's all going on, Warwick securing that first half for themselves, as you said, making the big commit of the 3 members down there does pay off. And Percival just has been on point so far this game. has dropped out from being 100% participation as far as kills go, but felt like it's really got Warwick rolling.
It was definitely a start, and it was definitely great to be able to get those first couple of kills in the game onto the Katarina as well. So big props to him. But now it comes down to, you put these resources onto the laners. What can they do with it?
We have got the items starting to emerge. Of course, as we mentioned before, the Spirit Visage being built towards by Simba's Lions on the Mundo, but also picking up an early Bramble Vest, and the Hextech Gunblade completed for Oriso's Katarina in the mid lane for Warwick.
And so now it's the Gunblade does allow you to start making plays like this.
Oh my god, Monica gets absolutely annihilated. We were worried about this before the game even started, the squishiness of the Sona, and it's demonstrated in full.
It's, if you look back in the previous metas when Assassins were the strongest, it was with these squishy supports, the Zyra, the Sona, where they had this target they can consistently focus out. And now sitting at 4-1, Katarina is rolling. She's looking to burst these squishies out consistently.
Nariko will land the stun, but as soon as that stun is gone, Orisu open season on that Xerath, already pulling ahead on CS in the mid lane. Of course, it's true for pretty much every lane apart from, I guess, if you consider the jungle to be a lane. Deft at least is keeping up with Percival on CS, if not on ganks.
So with this Gunblade already active again, Katarina can continue doing this and continue getting the pressure down. But in the top lane,
Simba's Lions already starting to show some of that legendary tankiness the Mundo is known for, as the Rift Herald is secured off screen by Percival. With already 2 towers down, wonder how much distance that Rift Herald can get.
So what I want to see next item is rushed a Morellonomicon out of Chazmaster. Oh, looking here in the mids.
Yeah, Def's going to get caught up, and just like so many before them, will get evaporated. Nariko drops down the barrier, denies the damage for the time being. You have to think Arisu's going to come calling once again soon.
Oh, but his Tunky.
Yep, going to get slammed into the corner, forced to flash away, holds onto the heel for the time being, but without the support, it's going to be tight, goes into close range, maybe a mistake, at least using the tower to get the damage down, but much like the Mundo, Tunky's Gnar very beefy already.
Well played by Smashly to not get killed in that dive, just using the ultimate to get out of the dodge, but now in the top lane.
Percival coming in from the back, nice crescendo to lock 2 targets in place on the side of Warwick, but there's the catch, the crowd control chain, locks down Simba, will have the shields coming in from the Sona, somehow still stays up. The tower is going to be the only thing denying Warwick from chasing down those 2 kills.
And they need, as I was alluding to already, they need the Morellonomicon. They need those grievous wounds to shut down the healing from the Mundo, not allow him to get as much healing from the Sona as well. And that will allow them to shred through him. Right now, it feels like they're just throwing damage at a wall. There's not really getting anything out of it.
Flash in from Arizu will blow off Monica. There you go. If the stone is a problem, Arizu will remove that problem for you. And the tower, of course, going to follow shortly after. That's the last tier 1 gone for Kiel. And their time may well be running out.
And since they broke that first tower in the bot lane, you can see how much the game's been accelerated. These lane swaps coming through, pressuring massively into these the faces of Kiel. And now you start to see what the Katarina can do, because she's got this wave priority in mid, because she's got the trading advantage. She forces Noriko under the tower and roams, goes top lane, pressures out the Mundo, makes sure they can get the tower, makes sure that the lanes are all pushed up, and that gives Percival full reign to go into the enemy jungle, and gives her the reign to do that.
Just like that, without the barrier, Trip Noriko not able to do too much of anything, of course. The Katarina, when she has that little dagger there, she can jump right to it for that extra burst of damage. But speaking of burst of damage, Percival can get chased through the jungle, but there's not enough damage on Mashley to be able to put Percival down. Of course, that we're going to be seeing the passive come through. As there's the ultimate coming down, not even needed. Arisu tearing the heart from where's Kiel, where's the damage, right up in their faces. Triple kill goes through, 10 kills on Arisu right now.
You know, we heard that this was the first time Katarina's been allowed through. Now it seems like we're finding out why. As 1-1, I don't think we're going to see this champion again anytime soon from the opponents of Warwick.
Yes, I think we've But there were comments before this even started. Surprised to see the Katarina get through. Don't think many teams will be making that mistake again, as the Rizu is just performing out of their mind right now. I think the Rift Herald, I'm just trying to spot out where they ended up getting used, because the game has been progressing so quickly.
I think honestly it just ended up being timed out.
That feels like that's a shame for Warwick, but I guess it doesn't honestly matter, as tower number 5 falls and Kill
Just
gets
to
to kill
confirm,
even
check
one.
the cat log, just to check the chat log. There is no crush the eye of the Herald, so it just timed out. They didn't press the advantage hard enough, and Percival maybe losing the presence of mind there to pick that one up.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, at this point, it feels like Warwick is so far ahead, they could pretty much escort a Rift Herald all the way to an inhibitor.
Yeah, it's just that the problem being with it is, oh,
Well, there is a catch for Arisu. Oh man, it feels like the entire team just work around the concept of set up Arisu to do well, and it's going fantastically.
The Arisu's got the Exile tag, Exile being the Unicorns of Love mid laner renowned for his Katarina. So I'm not sure if that is fully intentional, but
I like to think it is.
I'd like to think it is, yeah.
Oh man.
He's basically a Katarina main, but he plays in the LCS.
Well, that's going to be the last tier 2 falling. Kill now driven right back into their base. Almost the final line of defense for Kill, who are struggling to find too much of anything on the map. Pretty much everywhere. All the jungle gold, all these global objectives, going to be very easy access for Warwick.
Just look at the item disparity. Katarina having that 10 stacks on the Darksteel boots completed 1.5 full items, whereas Xerath honestly just trying to pick up parts of items here, not even been able to pick up any mana. So the wave clear that you'd say, yeah, Xerath has long range wave clear though, so maybe they can turtle it out. He doesn't have the mana to do that. He has to back off so consistently to be able to pick up the mana to continue clearing. It's a real issue for him. You'd want to see that Luden's Echo already, but it's already so late into the game that it feels like he's losing out on so much by having not itemized it first.
We've got the Infernal Drake in the hands of...
Oh, baby. Sorry, there's a Morellonomicon and a Magi's Soul Stealer, though.
Oh, wait a second. We've got Arisu going off once more. Does get stunned and exhausted. Arisu gonna try and get the deny on the damage, but Arisu can still get out of there unless Simba's Lions finishes off the job. Gonna go across the wall, which might be what Arisu's looking for. The shutdown finally happens, but I think vastly too late for Kill.
The Soul Stealer doesn't quite pay off, ends up using the stopwatch as well. Still on 8 stacks at the very least, and to have it be gold efficient, I believe the stacks you need is 7. So he's still above gold efficiency on it. You can still stack that one up continually. But look at how far he is ahead, still 60 CS, and the fact that he's putting this much pressure on, he's forcing all the members back into the fountain. It's giving them free reign to take this Baron.
Percival able to tank a lot of that damage, and of course, Chaz Master having that max health damage as well to make the Baron take that much easier. While this is all going on, Tunky on the Gnar looking to take that Ocean Drake down the bottom. Warwick perhaps spreading themselves a little thin here. The health bar's very low. And if Kiel could have intervened, that could have been disastrous.
Again, just lacking the presence of mind a little bit on both sides. The fact that the Rift Herald wasn't used, the fact that Graves ends up walking through the jungle clearing a pink ward, not aware that the Baron's being taken. It all just equates to a few little sloppy errors here and there, but still a 10k gold lead and still being forced by Arisu.
Arisu getting aggressed on for, I think, one of the very few times Kiel proactively trying to go after the Katarina. It feels like maybe that's the better case scenario there for Kiel to kind of pick their fights rather than having those fights forced upon them.
Yeah, because they don't have the reactionary plays. They have to catch somebody out of position themselves, and even so, do they really have the damage to burst out a Volibear, or really the stickiness to get on top of this Katarina and stay there when she still has those jumps, she still has the daggers, and the huge amount of damage that she can just turn on you if you make a single mistake.
Simba's Lions able to hold the front line for the moment while Tunky's Gnar off in the bottom side, providing that split pushing presence. Of course, the Baron up minions going to make the push harder to deny. But so far, Kiel are holding their ground. Percival looking to get that pick off. Simba's going to drop down
nice
the ultimates, going to have a huge amount of heals coming through, but Arisu on the backside takes out Monica instantly, and there we go. Simba can't heal through that, as unfortunately Mashi had to go up to the top side, away from the fight when they needed most, and Arisu going to pick apart Kill.
And here it is, the inhibitor goes down. We're only 23 minutes into the game, but such a commanding lead of 14,000.
Oh my god. Arisu doesn't waste a moment going under the tower. The ace is complete. And both inhibitors, of course, not long for this world, but it's not even going to matter as Warwick move in to take the Nexus
You
towers.
can't end yet. Arisu hasn't fully stacked the Magi's.
It may never happen, Isa. We may never see the glorious majesty of the 25 stack Magi's, as it looks like Warwick are going to send out a message to the rest of the summer tournament. They are here to show up and make up for the regular season being a bit of a disappointment. Certainly showing up incredibly well in our first game. As what better way to end than Arisu fountain diving and picking up a few more kills to pad those stats.
Hey, he hit 25 stacks, even if it was for a brief moment before the fountain laser killed him. It's okay.
Oh boy, oh boy. Alright guys, well, we do need to get ready for our second game of the day. So, congratulations to Warwick for a very strong first game performance. We will be going on to our second game with Ooga Booga Sleepy Sleepy coming up shortly. Hopefully they have waited for us because we are running a little bit behind our regular schedule. If not, we may need to go straight on to Waluigi, but either way, stay tuned and we'll be back in a few minutes with our next League of Legends game.
justified our sin, and we're gonna take you on a ride till we find answers within. Location not here, in shadows we all disappear. Hold on, switch gears, we're gone as fast as we appeared. Gone as fast as we appeared. Searching within, we've justified our sin. We're gonna take you on a ride till we find answers within. Location not here, in shadows we all disappear.
All right, guys, we are back once again for our second game of the evening on our summer tournament. We have got Ooga Booga Sleepy Sleepy from Bangor University, who will just probably have to abbreviate to OBSS.
I'm not sure if you have to change it, but they will be on the red side.
Oh, will they?
They just switched.
Oh, those dastardly so-and-sos. Fortunately, that's relatively easy for me to sort out, so I'll just get that done now. Apologies for that, guys. Should be set up in a second.
And on
What's
the other
scallywags?
side, it's not on my watch from the University of Nottingham.
We talked about the puns before we even started. Nottingham unable to resist. Whoa.
What the hell was that noise? Jesus.
No, it was not.
You sound like a spirit just walked through your body.
Oh, maybe it was. We've got our first bands coming through. Of course, well, we're not going to perhaps see the same level of Katarina in this game, but I'm starting to sense that Katarina might become a league-wide ban.
Hey, I mean, it's good to see our boy Sentricity, formerly of the NUEL staff, on the game.
Sentricity, yes. Been around for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some talk in the chat about leaving the Nidalee unbanned. Apparently that was not honoured, despite good intentions coming in.
Yeah, it's good intentions won't get you anywhere in esports, Pete. It's Nivea the first pick here, so we've seen the Nivea rising up a lot around the world in these Rift Rivals tournaments again. It's one of these picks that didn't really have any prevalence before that, but is now starting to see 2 or 3 picks. It's so good at controlling mid lane, and when you've got a game that's centered around snowballing in the mid game, where you want to take a big advantage from laning phases and then just use it to rotate everybody mid, take down the mid tower, and snowball the game from there, it stalls out the game for an extra 5 to 10 minutes consistently with the ability it has to just ranged wave clear, wall somebody off so they can't follow the minion wave under tower, or wall the minion wave off, wall the cannon minion off, in fact. Just separate people up so it's easier to take them down in chunks, or just deny the champions access altogether.
Yeah, really, really fun champion. I'm very excited to see how it gets used by Not. Also, Fiora, something I personally haven't seen too much recently. Presumably, well, we're not going to make any assumptions anymore. Presumably, still going up towards the top lane.
Yeah, we only really saw her mid when it was a counter pick to the Galio, so I would still assume that's going towards the top side. Strong dueling mid laner, but the thing is, it's generally very unsafe as a blind pick, because there's some picks like the Renekton, like the Pantheon. Pantheon being a pick specifically only picked as a counter to Fiora that you get in the top lane, and you just run Ignite, and Fiora can't do anything about it.
I like the Zyra pick up here for Nottingham. Extremely powerful down in the bottom lane, especially when combined with some other high damage bottom laner. And Orianna, the last one for the Sleepy Sleepies, before we get into the second round of bans.
So I like the Orianna pick, Orianna being a fairly safe mid laner pick who just wants to use the ranged wave clear, stay relevant, and get to that phase in the game where you can land a big shockwave. But it's not one of these picks that you really want to see the game snowball around. It's a pick that come the 25 minutes is very strong, but the way the meta is at the minute, you need picks that have strengths at the 15 minutes that you can play around, that they have strengths that you can continue to make plays around. And Orianna, she's really much more a facilitative pick for a playmaker, so we need to see something like that locked in. You know, your Rangars that jump in with an Orianna ball on them, something along those lines.
Yeah, so I couldn't agree with you more. So far, OBSS, I think, holding out on us a little bit as to what their final strategy is going to be.
It's Poppy.
It's, boy, no chance of a lollipoppy in this game. I quit immediately. Ugh.
Well, Poppy could be seen as a counterpick to Fiora with the ability to knock people up when they go for the Qs. You can just stop her from sticking to you in that sense. But the Q range is longer than the range of the Steadfast Presence, so it means that you can still land those vitals even when you're not in the range of the knockup.
Interesting ban out from Nottingham, taking away the Twitch, perhaps.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I still need to see something that is facilitated by this Orianna pick. So it could still be Karma ADC or support, not really solid on that just yet. But the fact that you've got that flexibility depending on the opposing lane matchup, definitely a good start.
I did see a question from Hudson BTW in the Twitch chat asking how to get on stream next week. Do get in touch with the NUEL Twitter or through any of the methods of contacting the NUEL staff to put your request through. We haven't got any formalized arrangements at the moment, but just let us know that you'd like to be featured, and we'll do our best to get you on for next week's broadcast. Last couple of picks coming in from Nottingham.
Oh.
And, well, maybe a pick.
Okay. So, Jinx is a pick. It is indeed a pick in League of Legends. So, is it a good one? I think I'll let this game do the talking for that in terms of how well it does, but generally what we've seen is Jinx doesn't get into the game. It takes far too long to scale. It takes far too long to get to those points where you can be a big threat. Because especially now where the Infinity Edge is actually really weak as a first item. Previously you'd go Infinity Edge, Ruined's Hurricane, and you'd have the AoE rockets, you'd have the wave clear, you'd have everything you wanted from 2 items. Apart from the fact that her kit meant that she wasn't really effective at trading and making picks. It was more about just surviving until you can crit people in the face for 1,000,000 damage. But when she's up against this Sivir, maybe she'll be given that time. When she's up against the Fiora who wants to scale, maybe she'll be given that time. But I still have the issue that Orianna has nothing to set her up. She has to go in of her own volition and land a point-blank shockwave in midair with nothing, no CC to set it up, no long-range engage, just purely, okay, I'm going to catch somebody out of position.
Yeah, honestly, not really how I expected to see things go at all in this Chamber Select, but hey, I'm fully willing to be surprised. I mean, we've got this, yes, with Spider being on the Fiora for OBSS, Spider's definitely one of the more experienced Bangor players. Has played in a few NUEL events previously and is also one of the more active players on the roster. Oogabuya Sleepy Sleepy as a team only actually formed last week for the summer tournament specifically. So we're looking to try and make an impact here, but I don't know. I feel a little bit iffy about their chances against Nottingham. How about you, Isa?
So, I mean, this composition just feels like it doesn't have any cohesion. It feels like 5 people all wanting to do the best in the game without really interacting with each other. It's more about your solo performance. And that's really not how team compositions work. You need some kind of, especially in the current meta, it's all about like Lulu plus Camille in the mid lane. It's all about having Aurelia Vladimir. It's all about having these combos that you can execute on. So when you see picks like this where it's just everybody wanting to solo carry, they all need to do well, or at least a majority of them need to start getting to a point where they can carry, or it will fall apart when you reach that phase in the game where you've got Zyra and Anivia or ulting in the same spot, where you've got Shen denying that pick potential with his ultimate. When you've got Fiora, who's actually, as the game goes on, struggles to 1v1 Shen when he gets to his full item point and can lock her down for a Graves to come in. But it's a matter of time before you see a Fiora come online. That's always the way it is. Fiora will get a point in the game, at least one, where she has the advantage and can push down towers. So there's still win conditions here for the side of Banger, but Nots has a much more rounded team composition. It has team fight strengths, it has wave clear strengths, and it has the early game strength of the Graves to buy them that time to scale into those points where you've got the wave clear.
Well, I mean, I see you mentioned earlier on that you were kind of concerned about particularly the Jinx's ability to scale up. Given now that we've seen from OBSS, it sounds like you're not anywhere near as concerned as perhaps you once were. Well,
generally, what you'd be concerned at if you're seeing Jinx Zyra bot lane is, okay, yeah, they're just going to go for something along the lines of Vladimir Shen or Swain Morgana, and they will destroy you. But instead, we're seeing the bot lane be Siva Karma, which is just the most free push, reset the wave, free push, reset the wave lane there is in League of Legends. Where it's basically saying, we do not want to have a laning phase, we just want to walk into lane, clear the minions and leave, and then come back in 15 minutes and see what we've got.
All right, well, there you've got it. The final word. We will be loading into game shortly for our second Summer Tournament Day 1 match. Let us know in the chat if you're a supporter of Nottingham or Bangor in this one. It certainly sounded like Nottingham are coming into this one pretty favoured, even if it's just on paper.
It definitely seems that way because Nottingham, they just seem to have had this idea of what they want to do, and it's this AoE team fight with the Jinx rockets, the Zyra damage, and the Anivia. So there's a fair amount of pick potential there as well, where you've got the Zyra root, the Anivia stuns on top of each other, and then maybe you can throw down a Jinx trap as well. Whereas on the other side, what can you really say that is cohesive about the composition apart from we all like to run forward at you?
Well, I mean, they can sure do that very, very well, at least.
Because that's the thing, that when they've got the Siva, the Karma, and the Udyr, is the message just send Udyr on top of the ADC and hope?
I think it may well be the case. All right, guys, so we're going to pause up. Let's go for about, let's say about 10 seconds. Let's pause at 10 and just get ready for our second game. So as we said before, we do need to pause at the beginning of the game to make sure that we're all kinds of synced up. But we won't be waiting too much longer before we get things underway. I mean, our first day, I think so far has started off more or less as we would expect. Warwick certainly looking extremely good in the first game. Now a chance for OBSS to start building their legacy, or perhaps show how much they still need to learn.
Well, we'll see as this game gets underway very shortly, but I'm interested to see if this game is just wait and scale for 40 minutes, or if we will see a team try and be proactive, because that's where you've got to look at the Udyr and the Graves to make plays in the early game, to try and give lanes advantages, to then get the snowball rolling, because that's what the meta has been, and that's what we've seen consistently.
All right, so, oh, darn it. I'm still going to get over that. Right, Isa, let's count in. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. And we will officially resume our summer tournament. The first day has already been pretty intense action-wise. Definitely, so we're looking to see what these junglers can do in the early going. I'm a big fan of the Udyr myself, but I know it does have some limitations.
I have Mastery 6 on the champion. I despise Udyr as a champion.
Why is that?
He's just, it feels so uninteractive as a champion, where you either get to the point in the game where your Q nowadays is getting to the point where 2 Qs, they're pretty much dead anyway. You stun them, you land a couple Q auto attacks, and they're basically going to have to flash instantly. Or you get to the point where you're tanky enough that you just hit W on cooldown and never die.
Alright, it looks to be that we're going to have a fairly conservative start from both sides. I think there was a little early defensive ward placement from the side of OBSS. Remember, of course, a while back, those wards, early trinket wards, have got a pretty long cooldown now, so any early wards are a big commit. But it doesn't look like Nottingham are willing to make any kind of push in towards that red buff.
So it just seems to be a fairly slow start, both of the bot lanes wanting to give the double help. So we'll see if which jungler comes out on top in clear speed. We assume it will be the Graves. Graves known for how quickly he can clear in the jungle. But if Udyr can get into his face, if Udyr can start to get the pressure off, that's really where the Graves has to be careful, because he's known for his ability to counter jungle. He's known for his ability to hard farm and invade once you start to get those R's stacking up, where you can get that AoE clear going off. And that's where Udyr continues to be a very strong champion.
The junglers, well, Capex on that Udyr, mostly keeping towards the bottom of the map so far. And Marwood's Graves looking to go for the quick double buff. Perhaps we might see a visit up to the top lane early.
But it's our boy Sentricity, though, still on this Jinx. Starting to get a small laning advantage right now. We can see the Zyra using her plants to zone away the bot lane of Sivakama, but we know once they start to get a few levels, once Siva starts to get a couple AD items, that is where she just pops W and clears away for free. But Dradeth going low there.
Yeah, Spider, we've noted before for the OBSS, that is their veteran player and is showing up pretty well so far, taking some pretty brutal trades, but Capex looking for that early aggression onto Marwa, not able to close the distance so far, but it's getting a little spicy here as we do have the stun landing. That Tiger starts damage pouring in. Marwa going down very low, forced the flash.
What a
the
fun
follow-up
champion.
flash, though, doesn't quite land, and now I think we'll see Caps forced to back off. Cupcakes trying to provide support from the side, but inconclusive at this point.
If he didn't faceplant the wall with a flash, that would have been an easy kill for the Udyr. You can see the early game strength, especially with the press of the attack available to him. Even into Graves, who's renowned all around League of Legends as the best early game jungler at the minute, where he plays so effectively, he has great ganks, and he has so much damage. Still struggles when Udyr is able to land that stun onto him.
Yes, the game sound should be fixed now. Thank you, Trash Card Billy, for letting me know. As we see the return of Capex making another gank in. Dradeth with the flash out early. Respect flash, I suspect, knowing how powerful that Udyr can be.
And so Udyr putting down a lot of pressure here in this early game. This is what we said needed to happen. He needed to be proactive. He needed to make plays happen. Otherwise, it didn't seem like this comp was going to go anywhere. It didn't really have any late game goal other than just throw the Udyr into the backline, similar to how you would with the Callistus. It's just Siva, Karma, empowered E, and then just hope that you've got enough movement speed to run onto the backline and then land a good shockwave with the enemy team running away. But you see what they've got into that. It's just the ability to put up an Anivia wall. They've got the disengage of the Zyra ult as well. So it's really hard for them to execute if they don't build an early enough advantage.
Well, Spider doing a number on Dradeth. Remember that flash is down. We do see Caps making return back to top lane, but Udyr actually going pretty low on the jungle clear. I think we'll have to rest those weary bear paws for the time being. Done pretty well in the early going.
Yeah, he can definitely keep this up, but his clear speed is where the strength comes. So he's got the ability to just hard farm and try and get into lanes, hard farm push into lanes. And you can see, even though he's gone for all these ganks, he's still kept up very effectively with Marwa on CS. And now, he looks like he's going straight for the Warrior enchant build. That would allude to the fact that he's going for the Tiger Form max.
Yeah, really nice scaling up.
He's taunting Marwa in chat right now. so Graves, where are we fighting?
Oh boy. Oh, I thought you meant Twitch chat for a second. I thought
No.
That's pretty extreme.
Graves and Udyr are 1v1 with each other. They're saying, okay, I'll come mid-level 3 if we go Rust 1v1.
Oh,
so
man.
they're gonna 1v1 on Rust right now, Modern Warfare 2 style.
Honestly, I'm gonna bring up the chat on the stream now, just because that's a unique thing. I've never seen a jungler in the NUEL engaging in overt psychological warfare. As unlikely to win, we'll get a visit from the gank fairy of Marwa. Won't be rewarded this time round, but I mean that's something that so rarely happens. Oftentimes because competitions specifically disallow it.
The NUEL's a bit more fun than that, though. We allow people to talk in the chat, but as long as it doesn't get offensive, it's fine.
Oh, we'll see how well it works for Capex, certainly with that early playmaking.
Atomic Cupcake's low on mana there, but yeah, Caps doesn't really want to run under the tower for that. I really want to credit the way Sentricity and Tahuru have been playing this bot lane. Even though they're up against this bot lane that, as we said, just wants to free push and farm. They've not been allowing them to do that. They've been constantly trying to put pressure on them, constantly pushing back, and a lot of that does come down to the effectiveness that Zyra's had with the plants, zoning people away.
We'll give a little bit of extra goal across to Dougal, but so far keeping the harass at bay. Of course, Rhyme on that Karma, able to have those inner fire shots that are usually so good at harassing, intercepted by a well-placed plant.
You know what's going to be really sad for the Sivir here? There's a unique interaction that you don't really see that often anymore. This was a more common thing towards Season 5, Season 6, but Sivir's Spell Shield. It doesn't block a Nivea Q, because as a Nivea Q does 2 instances of damage, the pass-through and the explosion. So she'd block the pass-through damage, but then she'd get the explosion.
Dreydeth getting chewed out. The Grand Challenge will expire, but Spider still secures the first blood. Very nicely done solo kill.
Spider's been doing well. He's been holding the wave out at a fair distance from the turret, always giving himself that engage range where he gets to hunt down Dreydeth when he hits that level 6 mark, and he's done it effectively. He uses that Conqueror damage as well, and with the Tiamat picks it up. Already got a 20 CS advantage. That's really the main strength you've got to look at here for the side of Banger, as they've seen Udyr go top a couple times. They've seen Fiora earn this advantage now. What can they do with it?
Well, Capex making good use of that space gained early on to pick up that Mountain Drake unopposed. The Spider
a bit risky.
Chased down by Marwa, who's burnt their flash, and a double use of the Blast Cone will keep Spider out of trouble.
Yeah, you don't really want to chase after a Fiora with boots flashing over the wall if you yourself do not have boots. A little bit of a missed call from that, as Udyr once again taunting him.
I genuinely think Capex has gotten into Marwa's head here. That Marwa wants to try and match what Capex has done in the early game, and is being, is kind of going for these hyper-aggressive moves that so far haven't really paid off.
Yeah, it's kind of this thing where you've does pick up the red buff there, but it's kind of the thing where you want to prove them wrong, and it's you want to make the play happen as soon as possible to prove your opponent wrong and shut them up. But right now, it's honestly better for him if he does just continue trying to scale up and counter gank effectively. So whenever Udyr wants to make a play, he turns up with his large amount of damage with that red smite and is able to lock down a kill for himself on the backside. He needs to let Udyr do what he wants to do and be ready to respond.
So far, Vision has been mostly in the favor of
the
Banger.
freezes here from Spider. I gotta say, sorry, that he's been freezing this so effectively to allow that gank to happen. The fact that the wave is locked up so far down the lane, every time Dreydeth wants to CS, he has to walk all the way towards the enemy turret, means that it's just so easy for Capex to walk into the lane, not even blow anything, and get a free flash.
Yeah, the well-placed ward in the bush down there for Dreydeth. I think the only thing stopping that gank from going through on Capex's side. Of course, the Spirit's Refuge for Shen, able to block out some of Spider's auto-attack damage, at least on paper. But so far hasn't been enough to stop an enormous CS advantage building up for Spider.
Gotta say, he's been playing this lane so effectively, even if he has been given a lot of help from Capex. Just with how he understands the mechanics of wave pressure, and how he's been utilizing it effectively to deny Dreydeth as much CS as possible.
Well, Capex certainly getting a lot of an impact. I'm trying to find out a way to fit a "It's Coming Home" meme in here somewhere. So you have to bear with me if I start saying things that are weird for the time being. Capex making his home up in the top lane? It doesn't really work. Never mind.
But here, the bot lane.
Yeah, we get the knockout coming through. Rhyme getting chewed to pieces. Dougal tries to come back in to make the save and just gets the double across the Sentricity. A game which was looking like it was OBSS favored. Now swings back wildly the other way. Stun lands in the mid, forcing the barrier out. And suddenly, Spider's looking a little lonely on this map.
And never mind, it's coming home. Sentricity sends them packing. Going back home themselves as he gets a double kill on that bot lane. Gonna likely get this first tower of the game in the next few minutes as well. If you just see Graves send a single gank there, that should be all it needs.
The stun landing, the damage pouring through, and there we go. Marwa gets to show off. Finally gets to make good on all that taunting from Capex.
And he gets the first kill out of these two junglers. He's got the CS advantage as well. And they're getting 2 lanes of massive amounts of poke on the towers. You can see this is the issue that Udi is going to continue having, though. We mentioned this earlier.
Gonna
He wants to get
on the
in.
bomb side, and the Spider getting it forced away as
Oh.
well, ignited and chased away. I think we could be looking at the first tower going across the not on my watch.
It's just he wants to get in onto that bot lane, and the root's there, the damage is there, and he instantly has to flash away. And just like he was saying to Marwa, no one wants to see that, no one likes to see that. It's just so easy to turn that around, and he gives another kill over to this Jinx, who's able to itemize into that first item, Storm Razor. Now he's got that guaranteed crit on the first auto attack. It can allow him to get that extra burst damage, get the extra poke in where you switch into the rocket form, get that max range Q crit, and then switch back into the minigun form, start hitting the wave again. So it's just really unfortunate to see from the side of Banger how it's all fallen apart so quickly.
The 3,000 gold advantage already being secured. I'm just trying to figure out where all of that gold came from. Of course, we got the first tower gold in those 3 kills, 4 Sentricity down in the bottom lane. But the CS was, honestly, I was thinking it was actually favoring towards Banger up
Look at
until
that
that
jungle
happened.
CS, 20 CS difference at the minute. That's a whole 5 camps. So about 150 gold per camp. It adds up, it adds up. 120, let's say, gold per camp.
Perhaps a little bit too much time spent taunting, as the bottom tower is extremely low at this point. We've got moves...
I like this though. Marwa's not even said a word in chat.
Well, of course.
He's just letting this happen. He's letting Capex wear himself out. It's like the old Rocky movies where you just let him wear himself out, let him throw his punches, and then punish him when he's tired.
Spider gonna try and catch Atomic, but will get walled in. Already the inhibitor damage is pretty huge. Grand Challenge coming through, but gonna get denied by that stopwatch. Spider deciding to go in anyway. This feels so risky, and it looks like OBSS may have taken one risk too many. Cupcake's feeling pretty good about themselves right now.
What's even worse about that play is he had egg the entire time. So Spider was going, yeah, I'll trade 1 for 1. I'll go under the tower. I'll happily get an advantage over my opposing laner. Dies, gives over the kill, and would have just gotten the passive anyway. Doesn't even get it.
It feels like at this point, OBSS, I think it's a lack of experience really showing here that they started off so strong, but when things start to go wrong, they're taking riskier and riskier moves. They're getting punished by Nottingham harshly, as the second break of the game will go over to Nottingham and Infernal to help them scale up even further.
It's definitely the Snowball Dragon you want to get at this point in the game, where you get that extra damage stats onto the Jinx, onto Anivia and Graves as well. And even onto the Zyra, it's just so much you can do with an Infernal Drake right now. But you'd maybe prefer to see that Mountain Dragon in the earlier phases picked up because they had all that bot lane pressure, but it was because Udyr was dominating the jungle matchup that they were allowed to get it.
Cupcakes will get denied.
Oh, nice flash.
Nice taunt landing there to keep hold of the place, but a counter aggression coming in from OBSS. They're not feeling sleepy, they're feeling pretty frisky as Untitled... Unlikely does pick up a kill. Taro on the bottom side, gonna get the punish. Cupcakes, I think, still has the passive, so this is gonna take a while before Capex can put them down. Taking the tower aggro, just about survives. It's all happening. OBSS at least gets something back, but Marwa pouring out the damage will get
forces the
spell
heal
without the ult though.
Forces the heal as well from Dougal McTavish, and it means that they trade the tower for another kill, and they're still pushing though.
They're right up on the inhibitor. It's only 15 minutes. They're already getting inhibitor damage. This is crazy. But the big commit for Nottingham pays off. So much ground gain. The entire bottom of the map passed across to the Nottingham side.
I'm really interested by this pickup from the Sivir. The first item, Essence Reaver. Oh, but in the top lane...
Wait a second, Spider is going to be in a whole world of hurt. Needs to proc
the healing's too much.
Can't quite do it. No, there's the Grand Challenge coming down. Dreydeth going down very low. Could we see the turnaround here? The Vitals get procced and Spider gets the solo kill once more.
The healing is just far too much for Dreydeth to deal with. He needed a Bramble Vest to go for that play. He doesn't have a Bramble Vest. Therefore, you see what happens. He just gets bopped on the nose repeatedly. The lifesteal keeps Spider healthy. He's able to get that first tower for the side of Banger.
We can see Capex, I think, running into the issues that some of the older design champions are always going to have. a very linear approach, just running straight at people. Atomic Cupcakes and that Anivia, a perfect choice to completely restrict the strategic options of Capex.
We talked about this already, where they want to speed up people. They want to have the Udia, the Karma, the Orianna, and the Sivir all boost up somebody's movement speed and have them run in. When you've just got the wall to go, nope, and then walk away, it's just such a huge denial tool.
So at this point, we've got the contrast of the 3 kills for Sentricity down in the bottom lane, the 3 deaths for Dre Death up in the top. I have to assume, though, if you're not him, that's exactly the way round you want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, you'd rather see the 3 kills on the Jinx than the Shen. So as long as Jinx continues to scale up, we can assume that we'll see the Runan's Hurricane into Infinity Edge now, which will be the 60% crit. But now, Spider and Caps.
Yeah, Marwa gonna get chased down, but it looks like Capex doesn't actually want to finish the job. We do have the Grand Challenge being completed, so the massive heal coming in, but the rest of the team don't want any part of it. Spider still gets the kill, even 1v4. It's gonna try and make the great escape, but unfortunately Cupcake's there with the slow.
Really nice, though, getting the 1-for-1, even when they commit so many members to that play. It gives the side of Banger the control over that mid lane, at least for a moment. It gives them the time to try and respond across the map, as Sivir, you can see, is pushing bot lane hard. And I wanted to mention a little bit earlier that the Essence Reaver being picked up for Sivir, I've not seen this pick yet. I like it, though, because it gives you the 20% CDR that the old Essence Reaver did. All it lacks is the crit manipulation, where as you get more crit, you get more CDR, you get some crit from the item itself, and it would allow you to easily transition into that Infinity Edge. Instead, it's just so much more focused on, you pop the ultimate, you get the attack speed boost as well. And so, because her ultimate isn't one that's so crucial to fights, it isn't one that changes the fight on a dime, it means she can pop it at will, just as an attack speed steroid.
Yeah, and also allows her to strip out those cooldowns as well, and her ability
Yeah.
to set spell shield's so powerful. Get off twice in the fight, and I don't know if you can
Well,
really
it's just
be locked
not even
down.
just that, but the Critichet auto attacks as well, where you get to bounce an attack from the Shen all the way onto the Jinx, can be so effective.
Yeah, especially if we see these fights getting into very sort of bunched up range. Oh man, I'm just waiting to see the big team fight come through, because it's going to be so explosive. As we know, with Atomic Cupcakes and that AoE, and Dougal on the Sivir also having a huge amount of AoE power.
I think I mentioned this to you before, Pete, but the thing I'd really dislike about crit ADCs right now is the fact that things seem to have such a clunky build path in general, where your full item build gives you either 60% crit or 120% crit. Or 90% from building 3 Zeals and not an Infinity Edge. So there's very little in between. Oh, the snipe from Sentricity. Oh, wow.
Was there a...
There was no ward there. There was no ward there. That was a pure snipe.
Marwa is going to be the focus of aggression, as Hannah Rhyme has been absolutely chewed out this whole game long. A turnaround play, impossible to deal with the Stand United, but it can land from anywhere across the map.
Really effective there at denying that aggression. They saw the play come through. They wanted to instantly make a counter, but they end up losing 2 in very quick succession.
Spider going to take the fight, goes for the Grand Challenge
You can
very
back off towards
early.
the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Dredeath will not
Or
get that last one proc, but he's taking so much damage. The tower is not there. The Rift Herald is being taken, just as Isa said, but Dredeath will pay the... Sorry, not the Rift Herald, the Baron itself is being taken, an incredibly early Baron. You're going to be traded across for an Ocean Drake, but while this is all going on, Nottingham will secure the Baron at 20 minutes. What is going on?
So the fact that the Baron was being taken there, he didn't want to give it away. He didn't want to stall it out and mean that they had to back off of that killed Spider and then go back again. He was willing to trade his life, be the sacrificial lamb for the sake of that Baron, and he ends up doing a great job at it. He's given his team this massive gold advantage now.
Oh, that is just crazy. Yep, nearly ahead by 5k now, of course.
Hey, he may have 4 deaths, but he still has some use.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this before. That Stand United is still good for denying the aggression from OBSS.
And he's also a great distraction counterfeit.
He is. Well, he's also got some pretty good pushing power with the Sunfire cape, but will keep Spider at bay for at least the time
I would
being.
disagree. You need the Sunfire Cape plus the Tiamat plus like towards the Titanic Hydra to really keep up with any sort of wave pressure, with any champion really, as Shen. Normally you see the Tiamat rush into the Sunfire Cape just to deny any of these big pushing split push top laners. But the fact that he's had to go directly into even more armor afterwards shows this is the position he's in.
Oh my god, Spider makes a huge... Wow, that shockwave though, as unlikely to win, does get the heal to get out of trouble. Spider
he's living up to his name.
Trouble. But I don't know if the health bars are there to allow the push to continue. Flash in, Cavex from the back will take out Sentricity before being put down. Still numbers advantage across.
But that denies the push.
There's the kill onto Marwa, but the wall is undeniable. Cupcakes disrupting the team fight again and again. Advantage falls to Nottingham, and I think they may be rewarded with that tower thanks to the Baroned up minions.
But now, because of those 2 kills going over, they don't have the ability to push into the Nexus towers. Oh, sorry, the Inhibitor towers, rather. With both of the ADCs being taken up, both of those ranged tower-destroying champions, it's now given them time to get the respawns, get the reset, and it's denied 2 Baron buffs.
Honestly, I didn't expect to see OBSS hold as well as they did. Inhibitors still stand. So we mentioned the scaling right back at the beginning of the game. We are seeing Atomic Cupcakes, as disruptive as they have been, are starting to scale up because that Archangel's got the Rod of Ages ticking up, the Nivea, and of course Sentricity themselves becoming a bigger and bigger threat as time goes on.
Yeah, he's really starting to get to the point in the game where he's a huge threat. We really need to see that Zeal item finished, plus the Infinity Edge, then maybe into a Lifesteal item before we really see him like completely dominating fights like we've seen Jinx do in the past. But simply give him that extra crit item, he's already doing a large amount of damage to towers. He's already got that large amount of attack speed, and the resets will only amplify that.
Yeah, Runan's going to allow Sentricity to do even more across. I believe I was trying to find which patch it happened in that Jinx's rockets now have more crit interaction to give her a bigger teamfight presence. But Sentricity certainly hasn't been hurting for that so far, as Draydeth will be the focus of aggression once more. Going to use the Stand United to get out of trouble. The stun can't come through in time, rather the root. And the push in from Nottingham into the base, unlikely, just about survives, and it's going to be forced out the teleport. Trying to make the save from Spider. They're locked in place, can't even get away, even with the flash. And finally, that inhibitor falls. It wasn't the Baron push, but the one after that did the deed.
The Fiora arrives directly before the towers spawned, but it may have been a curse rather than a blessing as she ends up going down. And that's another kill given over, but now with that inhibitor down, it gives them full control of the map, where they can start to look to rotate around, maybe look towards starting to deny the gold and the objectives from the rest of the map. And this top lane tower seems to be the next focus of other objectives.
Well, we're starting to get some. We're getting some comments about the Sivir pick for Ooga Booga. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, given what we've seen, do you feel like the Sivir is the biggest problem here for Ooga Booga, or is there anywhere else they could have picked up?
Honestly, I feel like the Sivir lacks the threat that you'd like to see, but I feel like the mid lane here, Orianna isn't a proactive pick; she's a reactive pick. You need something proactive in the mid lane right now. We saw it just last game. We saw how well Warwick played when they had a proactive roaming mid laner with a push advantage. This Orianna had none of those things. Didn't have the push advantage into the Nivea. Didn't have a roaming advantage. And really has no ability to make proactive plays. So it's always been just landing the shockwave on the backside of a play and not really being able to do anything of it. They don't really even have any follow-up for a shockwave being landed. There's no other AoE abilities other than hoping that the Sivir can do something off the back of it. Maybe if you did have something like a Vladimir ADC, considering they conceded lane so hard anyway, it would have been superior, but I don't think the Sivir is the biggest issue here. There is a world in which you have a proactive mid lane, and the Sivir only amplifies that.
Well, we've got even more items coming into pocket as the map continues to grow ever more. Here we can see Sentricity firing out the rocket there, looking to try and maybe go for something a little bit cheeky. Not gonna find anything this time round, but of course we can't forget this brush right here, where Sentricity did manage to pick up the blind kill before. Being predictable when the recalling can be a major issue.
But the issue for Nottingham here is still that this Fiora.
Yep, Spider getting get calls out once more, trying to proc the ult, trying to get the healing, but Taharu says not this time, as again, Hanarime gonna get torn to pieces, can't stand up to that damage, and Sentricity's gonna get excited, tearing through the towers. The Jinx power might be too much to deal with, as Not On My Watch make the move, pushing it through the top.
And just as I was about to allude to, the fact that the big issue here is that Shen cannot hold a side lane against this Fiora. Shen is unable to push back. He doesn't have the Tiamat. He only has these 2 AD items to just about survive the damage she puts out without going down and run away. So the fact that they're rotating around the map, rotating towards the Fiora, and picking her off as soon as possible, gives them the ability to set up these sieges without having to worry about losing a tower across the map.
The Rocket almost takes out Unlikely, able to stumble back into the fountain and hold for the time being. But whilst this is all going on, Dreydeth and Cupcakes down the bottom side, providing multiple points of pressure, while the Super Minions, of course, will push in towards the mid. It's looking like this could be the last gasp for OBSS.
And so now it's just a matter of time. You can see the Baron has respawned, and that's where the members are heading. And this Baron buff will surely be the tool that makes the lead insurmountable, as Nottingham just have the ability to burst this one down so quickly.
Yeah, Nottingham are picking up that 20-minute Baron before, not wasting a moment moving in on Baron number 2. Though I say that,
yeah,
and it's actually looking to be some kind of bait here.
They spot them on the wards. They don't want to go for the 50-50.
Spider getting caught out will have... won't survive for any amount of time. Shockwave only lands on the Sentricity.
Sentricity!
Too much of anything. The double kill comes through, and I think time is up. Triple kill!
Triple! Quadra!
We're going to try and make it into a quadra, and there we go, our first pentakill of the summer tournament, and it goes on to, of all people, Sentricity. Extremely well done. The last fight for Ooga Booga, the last gasp turned into a death rattle. The surrender comes out, just a formality at this point. Very well played from Nottingham.
And you could almost see it in their eyes the moment that Capex tried to flash on top of Sentricity and it didn't quite go through. That he was going to get the resets. You could see the movement speed adding up. You could see the attack speed adding up. It was just a couple moments it required for him to tear through the entire side of Banger. And it was just seemed so easy when you get to this point in the game, when you have the double crit items on top of a large amount of AD. Where, because of that bonus damage that you mentioned, because of the rockets, it's so much easier to do so, and picks up that pentakill. Really great display by him all game long. Finishes 9-1-6. Got to be my MVP.
Absolutely. Absolutely crazy in that game. Commiserations to OBSS. I mean, we did have our big questions about the selections coming in. Of course, as a new team, they're only going to develop and get better as it goes along, so hopefully we'll be able to check in with them.
Ooh, that's painful. Siva and Udia combined did less. Siva, Udia, and Karma combined did less damage than Zyra.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, Taharu, is a bit of an unsung hero this game. Had a really, really strong game. Didn't die once and picked up a whole bunch of kills and assists.
Really solid on those routes consistently. Yeah, really setting up the plays for the rest of the roster, and did a great job.
We have got a third game to get to. I'm hoping while Luigi has stuck around and hold off, and so that we can bring that third game. Either way around it, we'll be going to break, and we'll be back in hopefully just a few minutes with our final game of the evening. Thank you guys for watching so far, and we'll see you then.
searching for salvation. Can we find our way back, way back? Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back? No more running, no more running, no more chasing. No more running now, I'm running out of patience. Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back? Searching for salvation. Can we find our way back, way back? Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back? No more running, no more running, no more chasing. No more running now, I'm running out of patience. Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back? Can we find our way back? No more running, no more running, no more chasing. No more running now, I'm running out of patience. Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back?
Our backs against the wall. It seems impossible, but there's nobody else I want by my side to stand in with me to take this fight through the rise and fall. With our fearless hearts, we could beat the odds, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends. If we all go down, if our time is now, we could let everyone know we were here. We could be legends.
We can live forever.
We dream so colorful. Oh, we love so strong. The world is relentless, the city won't sleep. It hardens your soul, brings you to your knees. But we can face it all. With our fearless hearts, we could be ours, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends. If we all go down, if our time is now, we could let everyone know we were here. We could be legends.
We can live forever. Kicks again.
Okay. Okay.
Kicks again.
Okay. Okay.
Kicks again. Kicks again.
Okay. Okay.
Kicks again.
Okay. Okay.
Kicks again. Kicks again. Kicks again. stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop.
You got to show love, got to show love, you got to show love, that's me love. And keep the fires burning, baby. Keep the fires burning, baby. You got to show love, got to show love, you got to show love, that's me love. And keep the fires burning, baby. Ooh, it keeps my fire burning, make it hot. That's me love.
All right, guys, welcome back to the summer tournament. Our last match of the night sees Waluigi from Loughborough University going up against Monkey Cage from the University of East Anglia. Of course, Monkey Cage with a lot of history in the NUEL. We're expecting to see do well.
You've been around for multiple seasons, star player having been often the jungler Lolman07. Still yet to see his Evelyn. It still bothers me. He was really good. Like, after Evelyn got reworked, he played a lot of her. Still didn't get to see her. She was either banned or not picked through the entire spring split. But still able to show up rather big on a lot of champions at that time, pulling out. Even as the meta switched away from carry junglers, he was still able to have a large amount of impact.
Yeah, we've had some extremely strong junglers in the NUEL in general. Some pretty big rivalries. And Lolman definitely part of that banter going backwards and forwards. First set of bans almost completed. Seeing the Trundle taken away from what being a potential jungle pick. And I'm sad that we're not going to get to see the Aatrox as part of this game that we were talking about earlier on today.
You know what's also sad? The cat not being here, but they are going to sub in Reapus, who we believe is going to be going into that support role, slotting in his place, unless they're going to switch this out quite a lot. But what we know from them in the past is Karma Envy is the top laner, that Darius actually being a really strong pick for him in the past. So surprised to see that one banned away by them. Unless they're trying to switch out altogether and all the roles are messed up. But it's hard to really say LCS order when even in the LCS they aren't in the right order.
That's true. I don't think, honestly, we can take anything for granted whatsoever in this particular game, as the Swain will be the first choice for Waluigi.
Nice flexible pick. Has been seen ADC and mid laner quite often. Just a very strong controlling pick when it comes to those later game team fights. What you end up normally seeing now is like a Vladimir plus a Swain as this really effective bruiser line where they do a lot of damage but they heal up consistently. They can stay near the front line. And then you have a high damage dealer behind them. A squishy guy who needs the space given for him. And Swain and Vladimir do exactly that.
I like the Fiddlesticks being picked up here for Monkey Cage. Great point and click CC, can be very difficult to deal with.
Oh, baby! It's Talia jungle. I'm happy.
Yeah, we knew the Lolman would be looking to make a big impact, try and show off why Lolman's considered one of the top NUEL junglers, and Talia feels like a pretty good pick to do that on.
And it's actually pretty good into the Graves pick as well, where you've got a lot of damage in those early game trades, where Graves really needs to wait until he's got that 650 gold, can get the skirmishing smite before he starts really being able to trade that effectively. So Talia going to be looking to hard farm it out in the early game, and unless we see this one go mid, which is still a possibility, is still a flexible pick, and it can still go ADC as well, it is going to be looking to be that oppressive jungle where you can get like one buff, then level 2 gank top lane and force a flash already.
The Graves being picked up as the jungle pick for Loughborough. The Pike coming out, though, not something I was fully expecting to see. Though there was always the possibility that Waluigi would be breaking out the Tam Kench jungle. Sadly, not this time.
So if we see this Ezreal locked in, especially if we see this Ezreal locked in, we need to see more of an effective front line from Waluigi here. So we need to see something that the Talia can throw all those Qs at and it won't even flinch. Something that Ezreal can continue landing Q on and it won't flinch. So they need something to block the damage from hitting the key members. So we need like a Swain maybe to go mid, then something effectively tanky in the top lane, and a high damage ADC, or even just something like the Vladimir again, but we need some more survivability from this poke.
Well, at least I was going to see if Monkey Cage had the same idea as you did, Isa. Certainly taking out a relatively beefy pick for perhaps jungle or top in the form of the Jax.
They do just need that beefier. We need a big slice of steak in the top lane.
You can't milk those.
I'm not asking for an Alistair here.
Maybe you should be. The Zillion being taken away, pretty unusual. Bottom, or at least support potentially, I suppose, at mid lane as well.
See, this is really rough. I want to look at Pike for a minute, because Pike into Fiddlesticks. Pike's a champion that wants to dive into melee range and all in the opposing bot lane. But Fiddlesticks just completely denies that. He just goes, okay, Q, and then just sends them running for the hills. Because it denies all-in engages so effectively. Whilst also towards the later stages, if you've got vision pressure, is so great at getting those all-in engages himself.
Yeah, I mean the difference between a Pyke getting it, getting it off those deaths from below, getting that doubling up on the kill gold, and a Pyke that sent scarpering with a fear just feels so enormous for Waluigi. I have to wonder how they're going to play around it.
You do have to wonder where all the damage is going to land and who the key targets are. But now looking at this pick, and okay, they've locked in my 2 jungle mains at the minute, besides Evelyn, in Rumble and Talia. So there's a large amount of AoE here because you can look at the Rumble plus Fiddlesticks ults landing on top of each other, which will just give Talia and Ezreal free reign to pump out that DPS. So this is a composition that wants to snowball ahead and use their advantage to hard force around towers, hard force engages in the right places, where they get to choose the terms of the fight.
Back in patch 8.12, Rumble getting some extra shield, extra damage on that ult. Could be a major threat. As we're going to see Waluigi finalize their lineup. Will they make good on this flexibility they've afforded themselves so far? The Lucian being really down in the bottom lane, as Mundo headed towards the top.
So this is Swain mid. So they've got the opportunity to counterpick or leave Talia mid and pick a jungler here. So I like the idea where they've picked this flexible pick and then left counterpick still available for whoever should so choose it. Because worst case, you can still throw Rumble into the jungle and get a counterpick top into the Mundo.
I think we might be about to see it as Garen.
This might well be a proxy pick.
Yes, you're right. So I shouldn't get my hopes up too much. And
so I feel like there's a reason they've left him last pick, and it's because he's not got many champions on this account. You can see it's a provisional 3 games played account. So they've just left him with the final picks so they can proxy pick after.
Apparently it's a Galio rather than a Garen. Sadly, oh boy. I mean, to be fair, Garen is not, completely illegitimate as a pick, certainly at the moment. But we won't get to see him this time round. We will be jumping straight back into the pick and ban, so we'll be tearing through things once more. Won't keep you guys waiting. And yes, we're going to be seeing some proxy bans, I suspect, this time round, just to get through things a little bit quicker.
When we've got a Galio, seeing a high damage skirmishing jungler, a high damage skirmishing jungler alongside the Galio, giving him a target to ult in on, giving him a target to be able to consistently land on is great. You can see the potential that it's going to provide. And when you've got the composition that has been built by the side of UEA, there's a lot of damage that needs to be put down, and you don't want to be bursted during, for example, the Fiddlesticks ultimate, but now he's got somebody keeping him alive. He's got somebody giving him 40% damage reduction during that entire period and trying to get all the enemies to clear out of an area. That sets up sieges even more effectively.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how well that heroic entrance is put to use. So while we get these final pieces in place, guys, chat, please do let us know. Do you think it's going to be Waluigi or Monkey Cage looking for some redemption from the regular season after having their thunder stolen from them somewhat, have a chance to make an impact in the last game of the first day of the summer tournament?
I'm just remembering from the time when I was a coach where I had to go through 3 sets of redrafts because in each different occasion we'd picked Ashe. Ashe was banned as it was one of the first A champions by them, then by us, then by them again.
Oh, man.
Before eventually we finally got to play Ashe in the game. I was, needless to say, a little bit annoyed.
Well, at least we won't have to worry about that particular interaction this time round. As there we go, the Galio will take its place in the falls. Okay. So we've got the final lineups here. How are you feeling about the teams overall?
So I'm looking at the composition here from the side of Waluigi, and they've got definitely the bruises of Swain and Mundo when the game goes on to be an effective frontline, to buy time for Lucian and Graves to put down damage. But a lot of the playmaking potential comes down to Pyke. Pyke has to be really clutch on these bone spears. He has to be constantly landing these engages onto the squishy targets like Rumble, like the Fiddlesticks, and catching members out of position. If he's not doing that, then I don't see where the kills are going to come from.
Well, yeah, I mean, you point out with the, we've got Reapers on that Fiddlesticks. I mean, I'm fully expecting to see Reapers kind of on full-time pike denial duty.
But just look at how little engage they have. That's the issue I'm referring to here. Where, if that is denied by the Fiddlesticks, what do they have? What do they have to follow it up with? They have maybe a Swain E. That's like, it's the Swain E and the Pike Q. Beyond that, it's really, really soft engage of a Mundo trying to movement speed and slow somebody down with Qs. So, when you've got the ultimate combos of the Rumble plus the Fiddlesticks plus the Galio on the other side, to deny you that all-in, it's really rough to see Waluigi winning this unless they snowball massively ahead just off of winning lane 2v2s.
Oh yeah, I mean the team fights are just going to be absolutely terrifying. Even the idea of Waluigi trying to wade their way into Monkey Cage, in a kind of situation like a jungle path or similar where those AoE ults can be used to full effect, it's just, I can't even bear thinking about how much it would take to actually get through to any of the squishy members.
Well, the most exploitable pick, and the pick we're going to be looking at the most, I feel, in the early phases, is this Rumble, where Graves can really effectively get on top of him once he's got the red buff in the early game. Rumble not really known for his escape, and you got to think back to back in the days where it was just, you lock Rumble, okay, we lock Elise and a Renekton, and you die instantly top lane whenever you step up. So it's just a case of trying to keep him alive for long enough to have his ultimates be relevant. We saw like Brandini in Rift Rivals really struggle on this champion because he was just focused out so easily. He was pushed in, dived upon, and although Mundo isn't going to really be pushing him in as hard, it's still Gecko continually ganking top, and it has to be that to shut him down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as soon as that scrap shield goes down, well, the cooldown is used up for Rumble. No way out, but we know that Karma Envy, an extremely solid top laner for Monkey Cage. So we have to think that Karma Envy is going to be fully aware of the dangers in the early going. How well Waluigi are able to make that work anyway remains to be seen. We have got, looking through the summoners here, we have got a lot of teleports coming out. A little bit of an advantage on the side of Waluigi.
Yep, that teleport nerf not coming through just yet, but they're nerfing the teleport to 6 minutes. And a 6-minute cooldown, and it does not reduce its cooldown when you cancel it. That's currently going through the PvE.
Oh,
As
wow.
they've said that teleport's been too prevalent, and teleport's being used by ADCs and supports so consistently, and it should be more punishable. So 6-minute window, if you press teleport, you have to think about, do I just go in? Because cancelling it is no longer worth anything.
Well, I mean, I guess the disparity is coming down from the bottom lane between Waluigi, the namesake of the team, on the Lucian, versus I came to party on the Ezreal. What kind of considerations are at play when you've got teleport for Lucian, heal for Ezreal?
It means if he's not winning the laning phase, and if he is actually being pushed in, you get to get an effective base off without losing too much to the tower. So you can try and hard force out a wave with, for example, the culling, and then just get a base off, teleport back without having lost a single minion wave. And it gets you back in contention. But the only thing it does mean is you're lacking the combat summoner that Ezreal does have.
Yeah, I mean, with Reapers' Fiddlesticks having such great crowd control, I mean, could that potentially lead to more action in the bottom side in favor of Monkey Cage?
I think with Reapers in the bot lane, it's just going to be to do with controlling and poking the enemies out, allowing Ezreal to scale, because Lolman, I feel, is going to have to be looking towards punishing this Graves, looking towards punishing the Mundo in the early phases before he could really come online. Because you want to give Karma Envy that advantage.
Alright guys, so once more, do let us know. Do you think Waluigi will be able to take down Monkey Cage? We will be pausing up at the 10-second mark to get all kind of synchronized up. So we're going to get paused there. And, well, man, we've barely gotten started. We've already been told we belong in a museum.
Well, you do. You're already in your 30s, Pete.
That's true. Well, I was thinking more like belong in a mausoleum. But perhaps that's a little too morbid. Alright guys, so we'll be getting started in just a few moments with our last day 1 game in the summer tournament, Waluigi versus Monkey Cage. I'm paused at 11 seconds as it turns out. I just missed the mark a little bit there. So I said,
That's fine, I'm where you are.
Alright, hopefully that will be enough to see us through to the end of the game. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. And get this last game underway. I mean, so it feels like this is going to be a pretty close game from what you were describing before it started off. Do you have any feeling one way or the other?
I do feel like Lolman is going to be pressuring too hard through the jungle for really Gecko to get back into this easily. So I think it's going to be a win for the side of UEA Monkey Cage this early on.
We certainly are seeing the stack up from Monkey Cage, perhaps looking to make a move in early. We've got the coverage from Waluigi to spot this out, I suspect. So simple there. But all 5 members of Monkey Cage there, surely they're going to go for something. Yeah, we've got the move in. We're going to see the spot out early, and unfortunately not even any damage landing. But hey, Monkey Cage, you might as well give it a try.
So right now it's just a case of feeling each other out. They push Graves back in, maybe get a ward down for their troubles, but don't really gain much more than that. And now it's I like this change. They've spotted out where Graves is on the map, so Talia instantly goes to the other side, starting her own red buff to maybe get the trade of jungle camps over where she can play vertical jungling and try and go for Graves' blue buff.
Yeah, very smart reactionary play. I'll see how it plays out in the later game.
So simple having started the E. A little bit of an issue for laning phase.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you have the potential for a play early. I think perhaps Waluigi not quite expecting Monkey Cage to get that aggressive early, but the root does land, able to get a decent trade on to Nerve.
It's good for trading if you can land it on an opposing champion, but the first wave, the level 1, you always want to go for the wave clear ability. You always want to try and have control of that first wave and get the level 2 first. And with that, you can then look to control the lane because you have the trading advantage of your opponent.
So far, so even across the lanes. But there's some decent poke being landed from I Came to Party onto Waluigi. And while Nyx remains healthy, I wonder if this could limit any kind of playmaking potential.
I do like this thus far because Reapers has that advantage of just spamming his E and lane fiddlestick support having been working out quite a lot. It's interesting. It was something that was rumored in Korea. We kind of heard it loosely, and it was starting to come out of the woodwork bit by bit. But recently, it just showed up big in solo queue at the start of the summer split, and now it's being run all the time.
Well, we do have at least one bone skewer landing, I'm sure.
Got a bone to pick.
Yes. I think certainly later on, if I Came to Party falls afoul of that once again, we would have to be seeing it all in very short order.
Yeah, it's really just going to be looking to pick people out, and when you can do that with your invisibility as well, it's just so effective at denying people the ability to feel safe at any point in the game, and that's really the strength of it. Is Rumble utilizing his wave pressure to just force this wave in, but death by lollipops, get off potentially a better recall. But he's pushed up so far, and we can see Graves sitting in that tri-brush, just waiting for his opportunity to gank.
Yes, very, very aggressive play from Karma Envy, but they will have the support from Lolman coming in. Doesn't realize about to walk right into the Graves. That up close damage, and the first blood goes across to Waluigi. Wasn't the kill he was looking for, but one he'll gladly accept.
And the patience by him to sit in that tri-brush, not looking for the gank onto Karma Envy, instead waiting for Lolman to show up instead, and got to give him the credit. He did well on instantly bursting him down before we could see anything come back from Lolman, and that's exactly what you needed to see. An early game advantage for the Graves, who we need to see give them that potential, because currently they're not really doing so well in the lanes. It's a CS advantage in all, and it's going to be like the wave pressure advantage in all 3 lanes. So it should be Lolman having free reign to get into Graves' jungle. But getting that kill puts him in a position where he can easily contest Talia if he is to go 1v1 with her.
Yeah, well, I mean, the burst was already impressive from Gecko in that short trade. I think Lolman's going to be a lot more cautious, though. Of course, saying that, I could be proven a liar, as Lolman actually taking the opportunity to make a move into the Waluigi jungle and steal away the Raptor camps while Gecko is off enjoying the fruits of that early gank. Nerve looking for the catch. The combo, crowd control. The kill almost comes back, but so simple. Survive. Nerve goes in and finalizes the kill. Now 1 apiece.
Baits himself in by landing the E, thinking he has to land the pullback. Ends up leaving himself open to be finished off with a flash Q, and that's the comeback kill here for Lawman as well, where he instantly gets back on the map, back into the play, and now back in control of the game. Look at this 600 gold lead.
Yeah, really nice stuff as Death by Lollipops onto the tower. Karma Envy, I think he's going to have to give up the kill the flash. Perhaps a little unwise there.
A little bit underwhelming there, but Gecko chasing down Longman. Lands the red buff, but isn't going to do much more than that.
Yeah, getting punted away by the seismic shove. I think Gecko definitely going to be trying to hold on to that dash to get around the huge amount of crowd control Longman has at their disposal.
And so right now we're going to take stock again. It's a 700 gold lead for the side of Monkey Cage, but what they did by trading 1-for-1 on the top side there with Karma Envy is continue to deny minions to the tower. That wave is continually being pushed in, and he is struggling. Gecko is not helping him. We've expected to see this Rumble being punished for being pushed up so hard, but it's just not happened thus far.
And Gecko's about to walk into their jungle and find where Lolman has been clearing out everything. I think also getting spotted on a ward as well for their troubles. So can I have that income impacted? See if Lolman and Gecko can maybe clash down in the bottom side.
There's Death by Lollipops. Now he's got that level 6, can effectively trade into Rumble when he's got the Spectre's Cult as well for the regen. It's just up until this point, Rumble was just so effectively pressuring him out, pushing him under his tower. You can see just from this one item pickup how much harder it is.
Yeah, Karma taking the wrong end of those cleavers there. It's building up a bit of the magic pen. Perhaps we might see an early Leandries to deal with all that health. The Death by Lollipops is going to be stacking up, but of course we've got the stopwatch in pocket now for Death. If we see another Karma Envy tower dive, it may not go as well.
And so he's really worrying about being tower dove himself at this point. He's struggling to push out. He's not really got the damage to push through that Spectre's Cowl at this moment in time. So you can see Lolman maybe looking up here, but he's spotted on this ward in the Tri-Brush.
Yeah, this top lane has been the center of so much action so far this game, but Lolman at least not getting
just like
put
we
off.
predicted. Yeah, it's just like we were saying in the early game, that because the Rumble needs that support from the jungle, it's just Talia constantly heading up to that top side. Even if she isn't ganking, even if Graves isn't ganking, they're constantly trying to put the pressure up into that top side jungle.
Yeah, the control ward actually going out into the top Tri-Brush, I think to avoid that Gecko lurking in the bushes situation once more. I think actually, I'm going to have a quick check up there myself because I'm trying to figure out from the map. Yes, we've got multiple wards sharing a space up in that Tri-Brush, so highly contestable. But I think for the moment, it will remain in control of Monkey Cage.
You can see I came to party just ulting the wave, so you can assume he wants his recall here. He wants to pick up likely that Sheen after having picked up the tier first item. Going to be stacking that up. Going to be getting to the point in the game where he can look to be putting down a large amount of damage. We know how effective Lucian can be at this 2 item point. So that's exactly what Ezreal wants to get to as quickly as possible. Just that point where you can contest the 2 items of the Lucian.
There's the crowd control chain again. Nerve and Lolman tearing it through Simple, but the teleport enough to put them off following up any further.
And that was actually the Lucian TP. So maybe trying to just bait them into thinking it was the Mundo, or because really you don't want to see Lucian TPing directly next to Talia and a Galio at this point in the game.
No, I like it. I mean, the reaction to Monkey Cage, I think, weren't maybe expecting the teleport to come out. You have to make the decision in the moment, and the decision was made to back off. Lawman, though, not going to back off this top lane. Death by Lollipops may have all the healing in the world, but will have to duck away from that. We can't duck away from the equalizer. We'll be able to heal through with those invincibility frames. Death by Lollipops will fall finally to the Lolman.
Oh, Reapers.
Reapers gets caught out while Luigi pouring through the damage. Not quite enough. The execute comes through. Nyx gets the kill and doubles up on the gold.
Ends up being a 1-for-1 globally, as that's what we said needed to happen. Nyx needed to continue to find those hooks, and this time they punished with it.
Oh boy. Yeah, Reaper's not actually using the stopwatch, and I think it was up and available. Perhaps it all happened a little too quickly, or the burst too immediate.
It didn't really respect the ultimate there, and the ability to be executed from that high HP, I feel, is Reaper's issue. And ends up being finished off for it.
Of course, with speaking of those stopwatches, we've got a few more around the place. Though Nerve probably going to wish they had one right now as a triple gank comes in. Nerve will be able to tank it out onto the tower, though. And we can see their Reapers was available if things had gone further.
You can see Nerve didn't really want to walk the other way, worried he was going to walk directly into a Graves, ends up having to flash towards his turret on the 3-man gank.
There is an attempt on an early Ocean Drake here that I think may well be abandoned by Monkey Cage as Waluigi transition back towards the bottom
It
side.
seems like they're going back for it. They're all on the dragon right now.
All right. I think vision control has been established around the Drake, so perhaps Waluigi, especially with all the TPs, well, the TP down for Waluigi themselves, but back up for the two top players, not wanting to try to intervene down bottom. We have got a Rift Herald being started up, I believe, by Gecko to release trade objectives.
So close there on the hook by Nikes, almost pulling out Reapers from that, just that little bit of vision they had with that one ward, almost cost him his life.
Pretty heavy trading still in place. The two mid laners getting right up at each other's faces. We can already see, though, with the Rod of Ages completed for Nerve, they're getting pretty tanky, and so simple isn't going to be far behind.
He's still got the advantage because he got that first blood kill on getting to that Rod of Ages first, but the Rift Herald picked up for Gecko 7 here.
Soloing that one out. First tower, of course, still up for grabs for either of these teams. We'll see where the Rift Herald ends up getting deployed.
There's so much trading here that Directed Cam's really getting confused.
It's the sign of a good game, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just every time a trade happens, it doesn't know whether to look at the Rift Herald or the Dragon or a top lane where the tank's just being beaten down. And, with Rumble getting closer and closer to the Leandri's Torment first item, we could assume that a Morellonomicon will come in second. It's just so much magic penetration, so much percentage health damage that you can get done, that you can really imagine he's going to be tearing apart that Mundo. So he's just looking to scale up at this one moment. But the main source of action we've been looking towards is these junglers, because every single time they trade, it seems to be so explosive.
Both of them are down in the bottom side. Reapers in a full sight. Not the best place for a Fiddlesticks to be. The side switch shot will catch the pike and taken down extremely low. Top lane is looking to brawl at the same time. Nerve off to the side from that bottom lane fight. I think Calm Envy may run into a little bit of trouble here, and we're seeing how powerful Death by Lollipops can be, even with a level 1 ultimate.
Yeah, just the ability to chase people down so effectively, and he gets that bonus AD from his E, constant slows to stick to people, and the W damage, all of it adds up to make Mundo such a sticky and annoying champion. But
wow, Lawman just got exploded. Reapers shortly to follow. This time round, uses this going golden to avoid the kill, but Gecko still has the sustained damage to make it happen. Nerve trying to buy time for the remainder of the team to escape out. Calm Envy couldn't be part of the equation, and a big pickup for Waluigi. There's the Rift Herald, and first tower can't be far behind.
they don't really have the ability to get out of this.
Nerve gonna get caught, gonna get rooted, gonna get deleted. And I Came to Party desperately wanted to pick up Nikes on the back end, can't manage that. And a small goal lead for Waluigi is about to get a whole load bigger.
And they can maybe get the second charge off on this Rift Herald. That's going to be so crucial to doing this much damage to towers. And you can see now that that gold lead has shrunk dramatically, swung the other way, in fact, with back to a 1,500 lead the other way.
The catch on for
only going to increase if you make plays like that.
I mean, wow. It feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity for Waluigi to not escort that Rift Herald further, but at least they got what they needed. The first tower secured, and there's a whole bunch of kills as well. Now 3 onto Gecko's graves.
Well, the Rift Herald got its charge off, it got the minimum damage, so still worthwhile, and they get the kill in the jungle where Lolman just walks in with 0 vision and gets punished for it. Now 1 and 3 really being effectively punished by Graves thus far.
Calm Envy trying to take refuge on the equalizer that Leandri, as you mentioned before, completed. But I don't think he's going to be able to stand up to Death by Lollipops.
He needs another item.
Super aggressive. Calm Envy going to get chased onto their own tower. The very nicely placed flash draws in Death by Lollipops and forces them to back up instead.
You really need another item from Karma Envy before he can look to take those trades when you've maybe got the Morellonomicon on top of it. But still being destroyed by Death by Lollipops when he gets that ultimate and just pops it and chases you down the entire lane. He didn't even give a damn about the towers. Almost went down to it on the backside, but really just so close, one hit away from finishing off Karma Envy.
Oh man, it could not get much closer than that. Both teams sending their bottom lane up to the top. Now the damage has been done and that first tower secured. Of course, we've got a Drake up in just over a minute. Let's take a quick peek and see what it's going to be. It will be an Infernal. The Ocean already secured by Monkey Cage.
And so now it's another Snowball Drake. We saw this in the last game we watched as well. And the Infernal Drake just provides so much when you've got all these bruisery damage dealers in the game right now. Like your Swains, like even your Mundos when he pops E and gets all that bonus AD.
Oh, that's true. That's something that's really easy to overlook, especially considering that how we've got, we're looking at Death by Lollipops, who's got a lot of items in pocket. As we see the catch onto Reapus, and the execute goes through. Nikes picking up. You mentioned, well, right back at the start of the game, Isaac, you were wondering if we would see Nikes go off. Seems to be the answer is yes.
It seems to be a fairly standard League of Legends composition coming out here from UAE Monkey Cage. And we mentioned that the only way it really seemed like that it was going to be a win for the side of Waluigi would be if they were playing proactively around that pike, if the Graves was able to get a snowbally early game advantage. And that's exactly what's happened on both counts. Graves is now massively in the lead, for now at least.
Landing on that self-same Graves. Gecko, very low health, so simple, able to body block. Death by Lollipops will be coming in from the side, though. Monkey Cage maybe can't afford to hold on. They're all going to be pops. Lollipops on the chase. Nerve doesn't have a blast cone to get them out of trouble. Lolman is there to be able to do that seismic shove. Here comes the Fiddlesticks, though. They will catch Death by Lollipops, but they're not taking any damage at all. That's not the target, though. So simple on the back line. But Death by Lollipops will actually fall down. I came to party. Will pay the price on the backside.
Oh, nearly a nice ultimate by Karma Envy, just mispositioned and would have been able to finish off so simple. Rushes the ultimate out though and gets punished for it. Doesn't pick up the kill. And now it's just continually snowballing ahead, even though they get that one play and are able to pick up the side Gecko and Death by Lollipops. They lose I Came to Party and they lose the pressure on top.
Knights looking for the multi-stun, won't find it, but Reapus will get taken out on the backside. Nerve down low, very low on mana as well. Karma Envy gonna have to do the heavy lifting. Lolman taking the dragon on the backside of that. Could be dangerous. Splitting up attention for Monkey Cage.
Oh,
the execute
nice.
comes through. Make it two. Will we see number 3? Nerve gets blown to pieces. And Waluigi take advantage of Monkey Cage, trying to have their cake and eat it.
And do you know what's even better from that play? He picks up a triple kill and still gives 600 gold to So Simple. Because of his assists on the ultimate plays. And Nikes, he gets the resets, he gets the dunks. And I was about to say he's been playing so well on this pike, landing every single hook. But then he gets the ultimate resets. He makes the dream play that I've been wanting to see from every pike professionally. And he's 6-0-4 right now, having an amazing game.
Wow, that is honestly amazing to see, and I think illustrates pretty well the situation the Monkey Cage cannot afford to find themselves in, operating on low health, opening the door for the Pike to basically be a mini Darius, but with a little bit more flexibility.
Well, it seems like all you can say is Waluigi, yeah, at the minute. As they're putting on a real display of how to use this new champion, and not really seen it all that much, but now Lolman caught out.
Yep, caught between a rock and a hard place there. There's the execute going through Nerve. Still chase on the tower. The teleport being used again as a way to drive off the attention. We do have Reaper coming from the side, going to drop down the ult. Gecko's going to surely be the target. We'll have the hero's entrance to follow up. Gecko can't get away with the taunt there. I Came to Party lands their first kill.
A really nice ult there from Reapus, and that's how you punish the lack of vision when you're up against the Fiddlesticks. It even looks like they had a ward over the wall, so I'm surprised that play was able to be made. But they get punished, and well played by Reapus.
Yeah, well, we were talking about this right back in Champion Select. The possibilities for Monkey Cage if they can get that good team fight going. It felt like we saw at least a part of that come to fruition.
And I came to party though.
Does dodge away, but can't quite get away from the stun. So simple. Locks down the kill. And I don't think I Came to Party can afford to be by themselves, but neither can Waluigi. Gonna get caught up with that Weaver's Wall, trying to trade back, but gonna get denied.
I still love that somebody spent 1,400 blue essence to change their name to Loughborough University, while Loughborough University EG. Just the thought process that he went through, like, yes, this is what I want to be known as.
I admire the commitment, and we're seeing the big commit from Waluigi down towards the bottom. They get the catch onto Nerve. Crowd control for days. The rescue squad is coming in. Death by Lollipops going down low, but Gecko's damage is undeniable. 5 kills on that Graves. A huge burst potential. Reaper gets caught. Gets the execute through. Nikes is a god.
It's just so well played from him all game long, and another great hook!
These hooks are insane! Nug still had time to get off that death from below again. So simple.
Oh, simple!
Oh my god, so close to dead. Surely they go down. The shutdown gold does go back into the pockets of Monkey Cage. The shutdown gold has been enhanced, but Karma Envy steps too far and becomes just another victim.
And he died while on, as you can see from the small icon on the kill, he died whilst on the X of Pike, so Pike still gets the 300 gold for that kill. If somebody dies while on the X of the Pike, even if the X doesn't execute itself, you still get the full gold that you would do if it did kill somebody. So Pike actually getting the gold into his pocket that time around.
Oh, yeah, that's really, really nice. And I think certainly all those extra kills, well, I suppose at least the 8 we've seen coming through there, huge amount of extra gold going across the Waluigi, going some way towards explaining that, well, I say it's nearly 6k, getting close to 6k advantage.
He actually went Frozen Heart. This is really strange, because Frozen Heart, the aura, what it does is reduce the attack speed of people around you, and it gives you a lot of armor as well, a lot of mana. But the thing that we normally see in coming in for Pike is things like either the Black Cleaver or the Randuins, things that allow you to stick to people better or give you a bit more damage. But right now, he's not even getting the bonus AD from building health. He's just getting sheer tank stats.
That shows an enormous amount of restraint, I think, on the part of Knights, considering how hard they've been carrying to go for defensively rather than offensively. Stun Robo asking if these are some good teams. They are indeed. Monkey Cage having an enormous history, and while Luigi looking to try and re-establish themselves under a new name, Death by Lollipops gives their life so a kill can be traded back over the other side. But while Luigi are miles away from this Baron.
But Graves is still collapsing, so they need to be careful, ready to disengage for a kill.
Very swiftly moved away. I think the teleport, yes, does get cancelled. But Getcho may have to give up their life in exchange for the distraction. The chase is on. Monkey Cage following up. There's surely no way past. Now the equalizer has dropped and the shutdown, multiple shutdowns heading across to Karma Envy.
But with the ultimate gone from Talia, they have very little way of collapsing on this mid lane quick enough, so Ezreal was forced to try and ult to cut the wave.
Very swift movements from Waluigi, wasting not a moment. Tower.
Oh no!
Well, the catch again. Nice triple knockback, but the Fiddlesticks comes in a little bit too late and can't make the punish for Monkey Cage.
Oh, almost again. So close on these routes from So Simple. Not quite at Nyx's level on landing those so consistently, but how can you be when he's 8-0 and 10? So high on the kill participation. He has been definitely the MVP for his team, and it's not just as simple as, oh, he's got the most kills, so he's the MVP. He has had the most impact on this game through landing hook after hook. He's the only source of engage on his entire team, and he has been so consistent in allowing them to continue engaging in a composition where otherwise, without him, they wouldn't have any form of engage.
Oh man, a lot to put on Nate's shoulders, but so far have been up to the task. First streak of Dragon completed for Waluigi. Certainly a Mountain Drake going to help as the Baron becomes more and more of an issue as the game wears on.
And so now it's a 5,500 gold lead at 25 minutes. It doesn't seem that huge, but when you look at the advantage they've got, when they've got a Swain, a Graves, a Pyke who is performing so well, and the Graves, who is likely to be building into the crit as the game goes later and later, the late game fantasy is to have this big team fight where Lolman and Karma Envy want to land all this AoE, but they just get bursted instantly by the death ball of the side here of Waluigi.
Yeah, it was working pretty damn well up until this point. I'm honestly astonished that not more towers have been taken. Monkey Cage only actually manages to remain even so far, even while being pretty far behind in nearly every other respect.
So I think we have to now take stock of the Baron buff and see how long is it going to be before they can realistically look to take Baron. And with Lolman still alive and still able to do so much damage, with the idea that they're all trapped in the pit against Galio, Fiddlesticks, and Rumble being so difficult, they need to try and find a pick in the mid lane with Pyke and then snowball the advantage from there. So if they continue setting up these waves, pushing them deep and resetting, pushing and resetting, they'll find a pick, they'll find a decent engage, at least decent enough to force members back, and then they can disengage for Baron.
Oh boy, I thought of a good name for the Monkey Cage lineup, call them the Pit Fighters, because anytime they get into a Dragon Pit, anytime a Baron Pit, yeah, it's going to be an absolute mess for Waluigi to deal with.
That's a terrible name, Pete.
Hey man, you're just jealous of my creativity. Either way.
I mean, what creativity?
Hey man, you come up with your own names for these things, huh? Either way around it, we'll be looking forward to seeing how those big fights do play out. For the moment, Monkey Cage getting pushed back, managing to hold on to their vision line for the time being, but once those towers start falling, I have to think that's going to change quickly.
So it's just continuing to be this pressure. We see that now that the two items are here from Rumble, it's still not enough because Death by Lollipops has snowballed so far ahead. He's got the double magic resistance items. There's nothing Karma Envy can do to stop him just pushing this wave over and over again into him and getting these trades.
Yeah, the only thing so far that's kind of working is just clearing out that minion wave, but time is telling on the University of East Anglia side, getting pushed back on multiple fronts here. Something surely has got to give.
And it's got to be soon as well, because you can't just continue letting the side... Oh!
There's the catch. Reaper will get taken down extremely low. Reaper's taken out on the backside. Nerve coming to the fight a little too late. Does get the double taunt landing through, but so simple, so tanky, and will mean that that's a double kill going through to Waluigi. Lolman on the backside will at least be able to pick one up for Monkey Cage, but that tier 2 still under threat.
Still ends up being a 2-for-1, and Graves pushing in the bot side as well. This is a win-win here for the side of Waluigi. They can continue pushing, they can continue getting farm onto this Graves with that tower one hit from dead. And Lucian pushing this top side as well. It's just every single opportunity they get, Waluigi is trading up.
I came to party, you're going to feel the pressure very soon as Death by Lollipops with the follow-up can't quite get away. And one more execute for good measure. Nikes has definitely been the star of this game, and Lolman is going to be seeing stars chase between the towers. Reapers can at least keep Lolman alive for the time being. Teleport coming in to the tier 2. Surely Monkey Cage can't turn this, but maybe they can hold some ground.
And so now the teleport coming in on this minion as well. It looks like the inhibitor towers are being threatened.
Karma Envy thinking about coming in to make the save, but will get smoke screened away. The tower will fall down with Nerve in the backside. Equalizer comes through, gets the lockdown onto Nikes, but they still survive. So tanky. A Spirit Visage on Nikes, meaning that Equalizer didn't do too much of anything.
That's going to give him the extra healing whenever he goes invisible as well. So he has that effective grey health similar to Tom Kench. And we'll get that healing back, so he can go in for a trade, leave the fight, and then come back on a higher amount of HP. Very similar to how Evelyn does.
Yeah, it's certainly worked out pretty darn well so far. 0 deaths on Nikes' Pyke. Speaks to an extremely well calculated team fight. Yes, the only person.
He's building Adaptive Helm.
Oh boy.
They've acknowledged that Ezreal is the only AD threat, and he's not all that much of a threat at the minute, so they can all just itemize full magic resistance and go, yeah, screw Ezreal.
I think we presumably will be seeing the mortal reminder routes taken for our Came to Party, but LOLman won't need
There we
reminding
go.
about their mortality as well. Luigi, 5 kills, huge amount of items already in pocket will just make that deletion look effortless.
I mean, he still had to blow his flash to survive the knockback and not get caught out by LOLman there, as there would have been a large amount of damage going the other way. But now, without the jungler on the map, they can look towards this Baron. This is what we've been saying, we've been waiting for the last 5 minutes. Just a play to happen around this Baron pit where they can catch out LOLman.
The blast cone will be removed by Waluigi, trying to make
It's
sure
going to be a miracle steal.
we have got, of course, our Reapers ready to make the play. They're going to go for it. The equalizer comes down. Will we see the steal? We will not. But Reapers might be able to pick up So Simple on the backside. Gives up their life, but gets the kill. Knights go down very low. Falls down for the very first time this game. Kamehame forced the flash away.
Feeder.
But Monkey Cage are falling back in face of that Mundo. Who can deal with that amount of beef? Nobody right now.
And yeah, as you said, the first death for Nyx is a huge amount of shutdown gold that goes through towards the Ezreal. Maybe that can make him relevant now, but LOLman back on the map. These 3 members with Baron, they need to escape. They need to hold on to this Baron buff.
Yeah, the chase down from Monkey Cage could turn this game back around. Bear in mind, Monkey Cage already have 1 Infernal completed. If they can get a second, that's going to be a massive amount of damage and almost steal with the collateral damage. But there we go. Monkey Cage may have found themselves a late game.
And they've found themselves the fight that they needed to, at least even in that situation where they get the perfect fight, where they get all these members on solo HP from fighting the Baron. They still end up taking a 2-for-1, and that's the best they can get. It's really unfortunate, and now if you see a fight come on even terms, I don't expect it to go anywhere near as close.
Something which I've just noticed, which just tickles me about this game, is something I'm really liking from Waluigi is the amount of respect they're giving it over to the crowd, potential crowd control, potentially chain crowd control that Monkey Cage can pull out. All 5 members of Waluigi with Mercury treads in pocket.
Yeah, they don't want to get caught up by that CC, and also just getting magic resistance boots is all you really need to do. Just there's not real, like we said, Ezreal is the only armor threat, and you haven't really got much of damage from Ezreal until you hit that 25-30 minute mark. And even then, his damage is still mixed. He still does a lot of magic damage.
Yeah, we didn't see him go for the double tier style this time around to give a little bit later presence. But
I think it's because he acknowledges going AP damage is worthless against this team that has built so much magic damage. So much magic resistance. But even so, you got to think about the Q damage he's missing out on, where you end up building the Seraph's Embrace. You get the shield to keep you safe. You get the extra CDR that you needed to max out your CDR. You get 1,000 extra mana, more than 1,000, like 1,400 extra mana, which makes your Q hit that much harder with the Muramana passive. It just all adds up to being such an effective item for it, and he's missing out on all that late game damage.
push coming in. And of course, off-screen death by Lollipops will be able to pick up that extremely low health tier 2 tower that's been holding on for Monkey Cage for quite some time. The Baron up push could be what puts Monkey Cage down. One big push from either side could topple an inhibitor. But for now, Karma Envy has been able to clear out the minions. But how long can that last?
It doesn't seem all that long. These Baron buff empowered minions are just chipping away at these towers bit by bit.
Reaper's pulled across the wall. The multi-pronged attack from Waluigi does pay off. They open up the inhibitor of Monkey Cage. Now all they need to do is claim it.
And so now it's just a matter of time. And we mentioned this multiple times now, so it is literally just rinse and repeat. Ship the tower. Go for these trades, rinse and repeat. But Simple,
oh my god, almost goes down. One last shot would have done it. True shot barrage. That's the shot they were looking for. There's the catch. Monkey Cage looking to make the heroic defense. They hold on to that inhibitor. They get the multiple kills. And now Nikes looking for the execute. Won't quite find it. Will at least finalize the kill and actually escapes from the base somehow. But Monkey Cage still stand. Nikes gets found by a came to party. The damage pouring out. The execute's not quite finalized.
And in the meantime, Mundo's just beating away on the spot lane tower. So even though they make the trade happen, even though they get a couple kills and they stop the onslaught of this siege from the side of Waluigi, they still lose so much. They still lose 3 towers, and they lose most of the health of that middle inhibitor as well.
Oh man. I mean, at this point, it feels like you've got a kind of a divergent future path here for Monkey Cage. One where they keep Waluigi from just walking into the base and taking those inhibitors, and a much, much darker timeline in which Waluigi can just power their way in with 2 lanes of super minions. I don't know.
Darker or danker?
Oh, possibly both.
Because it's the dark timeline versus the dank timeline. Will it be turned around and will it be UAE Monkey Cage getting the huge win after being this far down for most of the game? You can see they're still around 11,000 gold down. They need to find big team fight after big team fight. They need to find shutdown after shutdown. And with how much they've itemized into magic resistance, you got to talk about how much pressure is on the Ezreal here. How much is down to Ezreal has to put these members out of the game. He has to chunk these members. He's going to be given the full opportunity to do so by the fact that none of them have built armor.
You can see the BF sword, and I came to parties inventory, a testament to how true that is, how much pressure is on I came to party to stand up.
You can imagine it's going to be a bloodthirster, so he can get the extra lifesteal and stay a bit safer, whilst also having a bunch more damage.
Well, for the moment, those down inhibitor towers won't matter until Waluigi can actually get into the base. We have got the double objective coming up here. I think, let's have a quick look down to the Dragon Pit. It will be an Elder Dragon coming up at the same time, more or less, as the Baron. Would be massive for Monkey Cage, but I don't know how they get within a mile of it.
Well, the thing is, they can afford to trade it for Baron and then just win a team fight in the base again like they did just moments ago, and that's going to be really what they need to do. So you can't afford, if you are the side of Waluigi right now, to needlessly trade Baron for Dragon without having considered it. You can look to perhaps force a fight around Baron and then go for Dragon, or put enough vision around Dragon that you can disengage for it. But they need to be sure that they're not going to make that trade, because they would be trading down.
Items are starting to get pretty close to completed now. We can see how much tankiness Death by Lollipops has in particular, but we are
you can see this. They acknowledge the pressure. They acknowledge the pressure of the Elder Dragon and how much it would mean. So they go and take it immediately on spawn before the Baron buff is able to be traded for it.
Have got reaction from Monkey Cage coming in swiftly. We know the team fighting power. That's the catch coming through very low. Lawman gets eliminated, but the fight is still on. Reaper's looking to get the chase down.
Oh god, Ezreal's so zoned out.
Reapers cannot get it. Waluigi, they win the fight massively. Karma Envy, the last one standing, the last one to fall. And the shutdown gold goes across along with the Elder Dragon. I have to think this game is done.
We talked about the threat of the Ezreal and how he was the only threat left on the roster, where he needed to have a big team fight because of all this magic resistance on every single member. And what ends up happening is Mundo so effectively gets on top of him right at the start of the fight, zones him off, and hunts him down. There was nothing he could do. It's an easy fight, and now they're looking to pick this game up with a 16,000 gold lead. Easy win for Loughborough.
Reaper's going to be the first one up, but I think won't have too much at all to say against a Elder Dragon empowered Waluigi team. We've got last line of defense here, but I don't think it's going to do too much of anything. Lawman eliminated once more. I came to party putting up the last shots right off of the fountain. Nerve coming in with the crowd control. The execute for Nikes, of course. What a better way than to end the first night of our summer tournament than with the last execute of the day.
And with a really strong MVP performance from Nikes, really carrying the team through that mid-game, he gets to the late game and he gives the members the opportunity to shine. And that's exactly what Death by Lollipops and Waluigi did in that last fight. You got to give them credit. They showed up huge and were able to put down those massive amounts of damage. But the reason they got there with that much of a lead, the reason they were so comfortable at that point in the game, was because of all those plays around the mid lane that Nikes was landing hook after hook after hook. And you got to say, amazing performance from him.
I think we're seeing the birth of a legend right here and now on our very first day
Well,
of the summer tournament.
we said that they're not going to see Katarina anymore for Warwick. I think this is a pick we're going to see banned away from the side of Waluigi.
I'm absolutely 1,000% certain that you are right. Of course, maybe we'll see a diversion onto Thresh and Blitzcrank as alternates. But for now, that will be all we have for the first day of the summer tournament. We will, of course, be back next week with day number 2, while Luigi stands triumphant at the end of the stream. But we'll have to bid you guys good night. For the moment, I'll be Peter Cantervit-Hartnell, joined by Stuart Isa McLeod. And we'll hope you guys have a wonderful evening wherever you are, and we'll see you again next time.